Yeah. Can I get start time, Mr. Chairman? Start time?
6:10.
Thank you.
I made a note.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the planning board meeting, August 20th. We have two public hearings, so we're going to be up here for those. So let's get started. First is 340 East Broadway. Cindy, if you could read in the specifics on the project.
340 East Broadway, major subdivision, application number PB 076725, Suffolk County Tax Map Number, District 206, Section 9, Block 6, Lot 22, zoning RB2 residential, property owner EBT Associates LLC, applicant EBT Associates LLC, care of Michael Strauss, contact Woodhull Expediting, care of Amy DeVito. Description: 4-lot major subdivision to subdivide the existing property into 4 conforming single-family residential lots, together with all associated site improvements and infrastructure as required by the village code. Tonight's action is a public hearing.
Okay, I always like to go through the ground rules of public hearings in case somebody, we have people here who haven't attended one. We ask the applicant to come up and do a little presentation or description of the project and its major component. The village planning board then has questions for the applicant, so there's a little back and forth there. We ask for staff, planning staff, to weigh in on any comments that they might have. And then at that point, we ask for anyone who'd like to come up and speak and make a comment to please do that. I'm guessing there aren't a lot of people here for this project tonight, so I'll take hands. Anybody, when we get to that point. When you come up, please address the board directly. Don't ask the applicant questions directly. We'll relay them to the applicant if we can't answer them ourselves. And you can make comments. Ask you not to go on too long. If we have a lot of people commenting, we usually put in a 3-minute limit, which sounds like a short period of time, but it really isn't. And then we'll have a discussion about the status of the hearing, whether we close it or adjourn it to the next meeting. So that being said, I'd like to have Michael, you want to come up? Michael Strauss, the attorney. Is Amy coming tonight, Michael?
No.
Okay. We thought that maybe she was coming, couldn't find a parking space.
I'm here with Tony Holzmacher, who's our engineer, who'll be happy to answer any of the questions you have as well. Michael Strauss, 907 Main Street, Port Jefferson, for the applicant and owner. This is a pretty straightforward project. This is a proposed 4-lot subdivision conforming to the current zoning in all respects. There are 2 lots that will front on East Broadway, and there are 2 lots that will front on Thompson Street. And hopefully we'll be able to have 4 market value homes added to the school district in Port Jefferson. We've responded, I believe, to all the staff comments. As you had noted in the work session as well, the only remaining element of our health approval is to incorporate 0.84 Pine Barrens credits, which we're going to do as soon as we have a comfort level that we would be fortunate enough to obtain your approval. Really, again, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions for Michael?
I have a question. Have you sourced the Pine Barren credits?
We own the 0.84 Pine Barrens credit, and because once you incorporate them, you can never take them out. We wanted to get to this point and feel that, we're confident that we may be fortunate enough to gain your approval, at which point we're going to immediately redeem it with the health department. We already own it.
Any other questions? Dan or Parker, you have anything to say?
Yeah, one thing. So,
Okay.
secret.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, good evening. So, the only thing, just to concur, Mr. Strauss said,
We have reviewed the submission against the code. As you know, subdivisions have kind of a multi-step process, and the first part of that is the conditional approval and the preliminary plat. And in terms of the code requirements for that, basically it seems that we have everything we need. We've also referred to DPW as requested last time because the easement for the existing drywall that's there that's connected to the village infrastructure and used by the village. DPW, I think that was today or yesterday, Parker? Were they yesterday? Responded saying they have no issue with the plans. It's currently configured. So the only thing that's really left on our end is just that because this is an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA, our recommendation was to do the coordinated review of the application. We have received the environmental assessment form that we found to be satisfactory. So our recommendation would be to now initiate the coordinated review that we've gotten it, and then the next step would be just complete SECRA prior to final decision.
Okay. Okay. Any questions for Ken? Okay. Anyone from the public like to comment on the project? Okay, seeing no hands. Typically what we do when we have open a public hearing, we keep it open in case there are any written comments that come in. Anybody who's watching on YouTube and is not here, couldn't make it, we give them the opportunity to drop off comments at Village Hall, or anybody else who wants to send in comments who isn't watching. So that's what the intent usually is. So at this point, unless anybody has any other questions, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting, this hearing, to next month, which is actually only in 3 weeks. It's September 10th.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting until September 10th.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
And I would guess at that time you could most likely close it for decision.
Yes.
And, I don't know if a resolution gets prepared in the interim or how typically you do that. So you potentially be ready.
Yeah, we just have to do the SECRA part, coordinated review first.
Oh, okay. And what's your guess on the time frame on that?
It's usually a 30-day process.
Okay.
So it's going like that.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, so 30-day process. So more probably by October would be the.
All right, great.
Okay.
Well, thank you very
All right.
much.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Have a good night. I'll be back later, actually.
Okay. Cindy, next up is 450 Myrtle Avenue, also known as Harbor Cove at Maryhaven. If you would just, actually, why don't you just read that in again?
450 Myrtle Avenue, Harbor Cove at Maryhaven, Site Development Plan. Application number PB 0766-25. Location southwest corner of the intersection of Myrtle Avenue and Belterre Road. Suffolk County Tax Map Number, Section 13, Block 1, Lots 8.1 and 9.1. Zoning is PO Professional Office, changed to RM Moderate Family Residential. Applicant Beechwood Port Jefferson LLC. Property owner St. Charles Hospital and Rehabilitation Center. Contact is Richard Rosenberg Counsel. Description: the application seeks site development plan and major subdivision approval for the redevelopment of the former Maryhaven Center of Hope Institute into a new 77-unit for-sale condominium development. The proposal includes the demolition of several existing vacant institutional buildings and the construction of 12 two-story residential buildings, a 2-story clubhouse, outdoor amenity space, as well as internal roadways, parking areas, and utility connections. Public hearing was opened on July 9th, 2026, and adjourned until August 20th, 2026.
Okay. Paulina, why don't you introduce yourself and just so people know who you are.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Paulina Giampetro. with the offices of Richard W. Rosenberg, PC, attorney for the applicant, Beechwood Port Jefferson, LLC. The office is located at 200 Robbins Lane, Suite C1, Jericho, New York, 11753. Joining me tonight, I have Mr. Rosenberg, General Counsel to the applicant, and the VHB team, Mrs. Terry Elkowitz, Senior Principal, Mr. Kevin Walsh, Chief Engineer, and Mr. Pat Lenahan, Director of Mobility. So thank you for having us on tonight. As Cindy mentioned, this is a continuation of the public hearing that was opened on July 9th, 2026 for the approval of the site development plan for the premises located at 450 Myrtle Avenue, Port Jefferson, also known as Suffolk County Tax Map Number District 206, Section 13, Block 1, Lots 8.001 and 9.001. I know there's new board members with us tonight, so if there's any questions, we're here to answer them. But I will keep my presentation brief since we did most of everything on the July 9th meeting. That meeting was an hour and 45 minutes on our hearing. So I'm just going to address a few items that we believe to be outstanding.
Okay.
The secondary emergency access is not necessary as determined by the fire marshal and DPW. The fire marshal has requested that all units be equipped with fire sprinklers, and we've agreed to sprinkle all of the units, and we're just in the process of determining what type of systems will be used. Next item is the engineering comments that we have received. JRH Consulting Engineers and Architects DPC issued comments dated June 12, 2026. Revised plans and a response memo was prepared by Angela Lano of VHB and submitted on July 6, 2026. JRH reviewed and issued a second comment memo, which was dated August 20th, 2026, but we did receive it on August 8th. There was 12 items on that list. Out of those 12, 10 were indicated that they were addressed, and there was 2 remaining items on the list. Those 2 comments were regarding drainage. First, regarding the distance between the drainage structures, and the second regarding the on-site drainage system being designed to handle a 100-year rain event with no off-site drainage, which accommodates a 9-inch precipitation event over a 24-hour period. Both of these comments were raised and discussed at the July 9th meeting to the satisfaction of the board. But should you have any other questions regarding it, I have Mr. Walsh from VHB he's available to discuss.
Okay. Gil, you are very familiar with the drainage comments, so maybe you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Walsh's findings. It's common practice to put them closer than what was recommended by JRH. The way water percolates through generally, I won't get into the boring stuff, but basically the systems will work just fine the way they're laid out. If anybody wants any technical data, I actually pulled out one of my books and started going through it, so it's all good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item, we have the traffic improvements. Modifications were requested by the village at the intersection of Myrtle and Belterre. We agreed upon what they are, and there will be an additional crosswalk on the southerly side of Myrtle, proceeding easterly, crossing over Belterre, as well as we'll have turn signal modifications. So if you're heading north on Belterre Road, turning west onto Myrtle, there'll be an additional left turn signal. And then if you're heading east onto Myrtle Ave, turning south onto Belterre Road, there will be an additional right turn signal. So engineering drawings are in process for those items. I do have Mr. Lanahan from VHB available to discuss, should you wish to discuss that further.
You know, there's just, I feel like we need to come up with a solution. when you're heading east on Myrtle, coming up the hill. So just so if I'm saying this correctly, so St. Charles will be on your left, the Mary Haven site would be on your right. Am I saying that right? East on Myrtle, how there is a straight and left turn lane are the same lane. Is it possible to have that lane go first as opposed, so to prevent having people behind somebody who's turning left, they see a green light, but the person can't turn left. They don't understand that it's a left-hand turn lane also. Am I making sense? Is it possible to clear that lane first before people coming west on Myrtle get a green light? Does that,
Yes.
does that seem like a reasonable thing to do? Because there's a lot of times you have confusion.
Sure, I'm gonna bring Pat up to respond.
I mean,
Good evening again, Pat Lenahan, VHB. We talked a little bit about that confusion a couple of weeks ago, so there's a couple of things that we're gonna do. We're gonna add additional arrows on the pavement further back from the queue so they're not hidden under the cars. The other thing we're gonna do is add a lane designation sign to the side of the road, a white and black sign that'll show that it's a left through lane and a right lane. That should help with the confusion along with the arrows.
okay.
There is a left turn arrow there that does come up first.
That's what that's
It's
the
there.
confusion,
Yeah.
because if you're waiting to go straight and that left turn arrow, I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier, but that's the problem.
Yeah. So
I'm just curious if we perhaps could instead just make it a green left hand, green for the through, and make people coming west wait until that clears.
the folks coming west are waiting while the arrow is running.
Right, but since they're already waiting, why don't we allow the straight traffic to go through, because
It
they
can-
don't,
It can.
it can, okay.
Eastbound runs before westbound runs.
But I've been at that light several times. When I see a left-hand turn green, I'm not gonna go straight, I'm gonna wait.
Well, I believe you have a green pole at the same time.
Uh,
Because it's a shared lane, it has to work that way.
Just, can we make sure that that's the case? Because I'm almost positive,
Mm-hmm. I agree with what Laura's saying, Pat. The left turn, obviously the left turn lane is not protected, so if somebody's going straight, the arrow comes on and you're behind that person who's going straight, you're stuck until the green through light comes through.
because there isn't a green through light,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
only the left-hand turn lane. And it only now occurred to me that.
I'll take another look at that, but if that's what's there, that's
Can
not
we fix
the way
that?
it should be.
No,
Yeah.
I've never seen one like that. It's,
Yeah, it's very
in a
weird.
shared lane, you should get the arrow and the pole at the same time.
right.
That's what I'm
So,
asking
you
for.
know, we are going to put, as she mentioned, we're gonna put some turn arrows, and we've looked at this intersection over and over and over again to come up
Okay.
with the most effective improvement. And I've spoke to your planning board chair several times. And those arrows that Paulina mentioned are the most effective way to help conditions at the intersection.
Great,
But if they can, so we're gonna wind up replacing a lot of that equipment up in the air.
so that
So we will
hypothetically will
certainly
be, yeah.
Address that as well, if that's what's going on.
And it's sad to say that only now occurred to me that I could go straight there with the left-hand turn arrow without fear of being.
Well, if there's no green ball at the same time, you
Yeah.
really can't go straight.
Oh, okay, so that's the case.
That's wrong.
Okay, that's the way it is now.
That's what happens is a red with a green, in both directions. There's a short, coming westbound on Myrtle, there's
Yeah.
a short, like fixed time, left turn arrow. So, but you're rebuilding the controller, correct?
If we have to, we assume we have to.
Yeah, you mean, even with minor stuff for the extra phases, you're gonna have
You
to.
might,
So you can take care of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the last item that we had was the sidewalks. An on-site meeting was held with Mr. Munson, the superintendent of DPW, and Mr. Gross, director of planning, to receive some direction regarding the sidewalks. They advised at that meeting that the issue was to be addressed by the Board of Trustees. So subsequently, there was a meeting that was held with the mayor, trustee Seaton, and the village attorney. Right now, we have 3 different segments, I'll call them, of the sidewalks. So you have the sidewalks that are to be constructed at the main entrance of the subdivision. Then there's sidewalks that will be installed on the southerly side of Myrtle from Belterre, connecting to the sidewalk pathway to the school property. So if you're heading east. And then the last section, we have the westerly boundary line of the property, subject property, and the properties more west of those along Myrtle, commencing on High Street, proceeding north on Myrtle up to the front of the subject premises. So right now, field work is being performed to provide additional information regarding the roadway and the properties, and a plan is being put together. And after plan is being put together after a meeting, that meeting was held with the mayor to address alternatives for this section of the sidewalks. In discussions with the village attorney, since the sidewalks were covered under the zoning approval, it's been suggested that the site plan approval be subject to the resolution of this issue prior to the signing of the site plan. We believe there's no other issues at this time, and as such, we respectfully request for the hearing to be closed and a resolution to be made. We thank you for your time and are happy here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, so you said the site plan approval, we recommended this, or you suggest that the site plan approval be subject to the resolution of the sidewalk issue?
We request that it's approval be given, but the site plans won't be signed until the sidewalks are resolved. All the issues in the sidewalks are resolved.
So are you building a sidewalk or are you not building a sidewalk?
We will have a sidewalk in front of the entranceway of the subdivision, the subject subdivision,
I'm talking Myrtle, the entire length of Myrtle from High Street to Belterre.
Sure.
And just before either one, did you get the comments, the public comments from the Port Jefferson Civic Association?
Yes.
Okay.
We did,
So-
as well as the trustees. I was at a meeting a week and a half with the mayor, trustee Snaden, as well as the village attorney. We laid out 3 different options for that sidewalk. One was basically to potentially take some property from Canyon Creek, and that would result in a retaining wall, and we estimated approximately 90 trees that would have to come down. Alternatively, on our property, we could do a sidewalk on our westerly side, and we've come up with 2 alternatives suggested by the village attorney and trustee Snaden that they've asked us to do some field work on and then go back. It's our intention to build a sidewalk or a shoulder or something else that's satisfactory to the village board. It all depends upon, we're balancing it basically between taking down trees, property rights of adjacent owners, as well as what is feasible. One of the things that was suggested was the current width of Myrtle Avenue, possibly restriping. So we're actually sent out a surveyor to measure that side. We had tried for months to get some feedback on that issue, and one of the former trustees was in charge of that issue, and we never got any additional feedback. So it was suggested meet at the property with the planning director, and DPW. At that meeting, it was clear by both that they will follow the direction of the Board of Trustees, and they were the decision-making body. Hence, we went to the Board of Trustees. So at that point, when we met, we resolved the front of the property, we resolved the eastern part of the property, and the westerly is to be determined in compliance with the covenant set forth in the approval. So we looked over and said, I'll do whatever field work you want, whatever you want. You need to tell us what you want. And as part of that, we explained the delays that were caused there, and we asked, is it possible that if the board is inclined to give site plan approval, they make it subject to compliance with the covenant in the approval, to which we were told by the village attorney, he didn't want to hold us up. He didn't see a problem with that, mention it. So that's hence why I requested that.
Can you pull up the covenant?
Sure.
And give it to us, please.
Parker, do you have that?
It's part of, it's part of the package that you had above. The covenant is at, excuse me, and this is on the right-hand bottom side, the, we had set, didn't we have that set forth in attachments? Okay. It's okay, I'll read it to you. Oh, I'm sorry, number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you now saying that the village trustees during that meeting, and Dan, feel free to weigh in, that they are now backtracking this language?
No, not
Because that-
backtracking it,
To me, that says there will be a sidewalk, not a,
except what it also says is, with any necessary permission from adjacent property owners to be obtained at no cost to applicant.
okay.
That is the issue with Canyon Creek that we're trying to resolve and give
So-
alternatives.
So this is not, I'm not a lawyer, nor a land use lawyer, right? In the Port Jefferson Civic Association, in their letter, they mentioned that there is a 10-foot right-of-way that the village has. Is that true? Like, I'm confused. You're saying, I'm confused. I thought there was a 10-foot right-of-way.
There is a 10-foot right-of-way, but part of that right-of-way might be within the roadbed already. So what we're doing is we've gone onto the old maps, went through DPW, sent a surveyor, and they're being mapped out right now. So if that area is part of the right-of-way, I don't need the permission of the property owner,
Okay.
okay? And it's up to the village board of trustees whether, if they're in opposition, whether I do it or not. And if I don't do it, then they would have to address this covenant in some other way. But I'm prepared to do it.
Okay, and then putting in the sidewalk, is there any more drainage? Is there anything, because once we close the public hearing, we're on a clock. And this seems like a very large piece of the project to just kind of wave a wand and hope that it gets resolved. Not that I'm saying it won't, but it's uncomfortable to be put in a position where we close a public hearing when something very significant is still outstanding. Perhaps I'm the only one that feels that way. Our next meeting is in 3 weeks. I would prefer this be solved unless there's something I'm not understanding.
Yeah, and I don't know how we can grant site plan approval without complete engineering drawings,
Well, unless it's like,
reflecting exactly what's going to be built.
but this is not part of the site plan. This is off-road improvements, off-site improvements. That's the first part. The second part is it's before the jurisdiction of the village board of trustees. And the third, which is not your issue, it's my issue, is 4 months I've been trying to get discretion because I've reached out to the property owners. And I asked them what they had an issue. They met with the mayor, I met with the property owners, I met with the mayor, and I gave them 5 alternatives and said, tell me what you want, because I can't, all I can do is suggest. It's up to the village board of trustees to resolve. So I specifically had that conversation with the village attorney. If 3 weeks is not the end of the world, I mean, what I'm wondering is, can you hold the decision and close the hearing? And that way we will address these issues, because it's the only issue remaining across the board.
No, problem is the
Because we're on a clock.
62-day clock.
But also, so I understand that the sidewalk itself would be an off-site public improvement, if I said that correctly, but you would have to remove trees on your property and perhaps the right-of-way. You're gonna have to put in a retaining wall. Am I,
To be
So-
determined in discussions with the building inspector.
but
and
that
the
will all
planning
be
department.
on your property as part of the site plan. It's not like these retaining walls are going to be the property of the village.
Actually, it's the opposite.
Okay.
Because if it's in the village right of way, it is a property of the village, and the covenant provides that it's going to be maintained by the village. So ultimately, they decide, we build, village maintains it.
Okay,
So it's,
so,
I'm sorry, it's also entirely possible that the sidewalk could be on other property owners' property. You don't know at this point?
Well, along Myrtle, on the easterly side of the property, there's only one property owner. Our data indicates that the village right of way is far in excess of 10 feet. So we'll be able to do that sidewalk without a problem, without anybody's consent. That's required by the village.
Yeah, that's your opinion at this point.
I would say it's an opinion and a fact because I have the data behind it. I wouldn't have suggested otherwise if it wasn't. On the westerly side of the site, that is where, again, on our property or the right of way, it depends what the Board of Trustees want, because we have to present to them a survey. The first idea was, we had our engineers look at all the records from the county and what have you. Instead, they weren't able to find anything sure, so instead, we sent out a surveyor to see what the width of the roadway is, find monuments and draw it up. And that's what we're doing, with the understanding that we would come back to the village, the board, the trustees, or the mayor and trustee Sneeden, and they would give us further direction of where to go.
So in that covenant number 8, there's a contingency in the third line that it's subject to obtaining permission from adjacent properties at no cost to applicant. I mean, what would you agree to remove that part?
I couldn't, because if the property owner doesn't consent to it, the only way to do it would be a condemnation by the village. I wouldn't be in a position to bring that.
So you have,
I asked-
confused. I thought you didn't have to run through another
No.
property owner's property.
We're talking about two different things. We're talking about two different things. The first thing we're talking about is if the area was in the right of way, I don't need consent. But the village might not want me to do it because when we agreed to the covenant, they didn't realize the amount of trees that would be involved as a result. So alternatively, if it's on my property, I'll consent and I'll take down the trees. But it's a balancing act, because throughout this approval process, we met with numerous agencies, and everybody has an opinion on trees in the village. So what I'm trying to do is move this forward, and the village, the board, will decide on number 8 or modify it accordingly, and the covenants provide that they have that right. I wish I had better answers other than come to alternatives and try to get to the end game.
I know it's considered offsite improvements, but we'd like, I think, that somebody should do an engineering review of the selected alternatives. Selected alternative, the one that's picked by the Board of Trustees, whether that's the outside engineering consultant, or, but somebody's got to do it.
When we met with DPW, the suggestion was engineer all alternatives for us to review.
Mm-hmm.
That's not feasible monetarily,
Yeah.
and it's not feasible time-wise.
Mhm.
So instead, we said, tell us what you want, and we'll engineer whatever you want. We then met with the trustees and said, where do you want us to go? We'll engineer it, and I'm still gonna engineer it. I must comply with this covenant, Okay, the question is, unfortunately, it's the same as, by putting that in, it's a legislative act that's before the Board of Trustees, not the
Yes.
planning board.
Yes. True.
Dan, what was the trustees' response to the Port Jeff Civic Association? It seemed like they did a pretty detailed analysis. I mean,
Yeah.
So, if I may, I have the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees had sent, it was an email, gone through several chains, and the end story was the Board of Trustees, July 20th, 2026, sent an email to Cindy CC to the various trustees. And in it, they give a number of explanations, and in the back, they request the following action. 1, concrete sidewalk 4 foot on the south side of Myrtle from High Street to Elementary, with passing spaces meeting ADA public rights of way access guidelines built at the grade of the street. That's what we're working on. Number 2, routing inside the existing guardrail at the intersection of Myrtle and Scraggy Hill. That we comply with. Number 1.3, an approximate 2-foot planting buffer between curb and sidewalk on the south side to accommodate utility poles. The village attorney confirmed that's not RTL nor required. Number 4, a pedestrian activated warning device at the south side of Belterre crossing on the Myrtle intersection. As Polier Pat indicated, that's been agreed to. 1.5, tree protection during construction. It's village code, we have to comply with it. Last, 1.6, retaining walls needed to hold the sidewalk to street grade containing within the 10-foot right-of-way. That, again, is determinant on the tree line and what the village trustees are prepared to allow us to do. That was really the conditions. The others are just certain data, and we have gone over that in depth at our meeting with both the village attorney and both trustees.
Okay. It would seem like the Board of Trustees should have an engineer present to look at the alternatives.
We asked, we were invited to a meeting, they invited who was there.
Yeah.
My only issue is this, respectfully, I understand, I think we all understand the issue, and I'm gonna comply with this covenant. I'm out of control on this because there are decisions that I need the advice of the Board of Trustees on. And my only issue is, at this point, we're in August, I've been waiting 4 months for the guidance, I finally got it. You know, if you want to put me over 3 weeks, respectfully, I understand. But what happens in 3 weeks when I still don't have direction?
No.
It's totally out of my control.
Okay, so what you're doing now is you're preparing those drawings, you said?
We are preparing drawings
But
of
they're not fully
alternatives they
engineered.
suggested. They have not been engineered.
But they must have grades on them, elevations.
They do have some grades, but more or less it's lining out the right of way and the estimation of trees that are going down so we can get definitive word of which way to path. I have to comply with this covenant. Will the covenant change? Perhaps that's at the village board of trustees' discretion. On my property, if they want me to take down the 90 trees, I'll do it. I don't have much of a choice here, but there are alternatives that they want me to look into.
Okay.
So- I just respectfully, I would like to keep it open for another 3 weeks. It's not us that's holding you up.
I understand
It's
that.
the Board of Trustees. So it's totally, they decided the way this application was gonna go. They chose this path. They are the ones, at this point, if it's holding you up, it is the trustees that are holding you up.
And
We have a certain process, and I think that we need to adhere to it.
Respectfully,
So-
I complied with the process. This is a matter before the board of trustees. So whether they have a decision or not, as you just indicated,
I think
they're
that
gonna
you need
make,
to have
they're
this,
gonna make the decision.
right, so
But-
you need to go to them and have this argument.
And I have, but I'm going to this board saying in 3 weeks, Labor Day weekend, I don't know who's gonna work other than me. So I believe I'm gonna be here with the same issue in September despite anything and everything you've asked me to do that I'm prepared to do and will do. If you wanna put it over respectfully, I can't do anything about it. I'm just being logical here and saying, I have a project, the sooner I have the site plan, the sooner fees go. The 3 weeks isn't gonna kill me. It's what happens after the 3 weeks if they haven't made a move. And indications are in the past year that I have no control here. Every time you go within and ask for something, we've gone back and submitted it within days. I just don't have control here because I don't know. I could have just said, we're doing it, end of story, we're gonna take down the trees, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But it felt to me that we should go back to the trustees and bring it up to them.
So actually, the board of trustees can't do anything until you're actually preparing the 5 drawings.
I'll have drawings done within by the end of this week.
Okay.
But
So it's,
as I said, then I call up for a meeting.
yes,
I'm just being realistic.
Right.
And my apologies for taking up all your time.
it's
But
fine.
I just feel that there's a very good chance I'm gonna be back here in 3 weeks,
Mhm.
having resolved everything that's within my control
Mhm.
with this one issue that is an issue before the Board of Trustees, determined by the Board of Trustees.
All right, so so you're gonna have the drawings, you're gonna ask for a meeting with the board of trustees, correct? Or 2 members of the board of trustees, I don't know.
Whoever they
who's
ask,
that?
whoever
Right,
he has
the
to
same
before.
characters that,
Right.
I don't need to refer to them as characters, but the same people that were at the last meeting. Why doesn't the planning board say, we can provide 1 or 2 members at that meeting to expedite a decision, provide input or, a review or a quick review of the 5
I'm
drawings to
happy.
try to move things along?
I'm happy to do that. Maybe just one suggestion. If we close the hearing, I'll voluntarily extend the 62 days. I'm allowed to do that by law, just to keep on moving forward.
Okay, I don't think we can close the hearing.
Okay.
And I think that's, we can have 1 or 2 members come down and look at the alternatives and, you kind of need an engineering input on the 5 alternatives to
But
go along with the other things, the
But
tree
before
cutting.
I do the
and
engineering,
right.
I need to know what they want.
Right.
It's very easy to say, give me 5
Yeah.
alternatives.
Yeah.
I'll be back
I know,
in December.
I know what you're saying, completely engineered drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Yeah, I think having benefit of the drawings that you're working on would be very helpful to this board and to the trustees.
And
I'd love
again,
to see it.
that's fine. I just want to point out once again, it's a matter to be determined by the Board of Trustees.
Right, right.
If you hold off, I can't fight you, I won't fight you. I'm just trying to get to the end game.
Yeah,
And I've been for the last 9 months.
All right. Okay.
Thank you for your
So
time.
why don't we do one couple of members over to that meeting, and whenever that occurs, to look at the 5 drawings that you'll have done in a week.
All I can do is suggest that to the trustees. I'll ask Dan to send a message.
Yes.
Because it's not for me
Please
to
do.
tell the Board of Trustees who should be.
Yes. Okay.
Can I ask if you've gotten any kind of feedback from the trustees about taking down 90 trees? And I know that there are very large boulders that have to be moved and some utility poles.
Utility poles I can work around,
Okay,
okay? As far as the trustees, again, I'm talking to the 2 trustees that I've met personally with.
Mhm.
The attitude at the end of the meeting was, we don't want you to take down 90 trees. Maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere where you're taking down 15 trees and you're giving us what we need. We'll be creative with you, come to us with alternatives. So that's why there's no quick answer here, unfortunately. If there was, I'd put my hands and do it.
okay. Also, there's a house on the corner of High Street and Myrtle.
Yes,
You would need their permission also?
depends where the right of way is. I sent out, we have the maps from the county. They're not dispositive, so we sent out a surveyor looking for monuments to determine. But there's a very good chance that some of that property is within the village right of way, including the
Hedge?
hedgerow, yeah.
Okay.
And then it becomes an issue But once again, to the village trustees, all right, we have that property, do we want a sidewalk, or do we want an issue with that neighbor?
And the sidewalk, when you go east of Belcher Road, is going to go to Scraggy Hill?
It's gonna go to the connection, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Again, my apologies for taking up so much time, but thank you for your consideration.
Do you have anything?
No, that concludes.
Any other questions? Okay. Anybody, questions? No? Okay, Dan?
No, I was just gonna say, so, I don't know if you want, but I'll come to Mike, sorry. I know Attorney Burke's on his way, he should be here, kind of. No, but,
Could you please speak into the microphone?
yes,
Oh, look at that.
that's what I came doing.
Just mention his name and he shows
Exactly.
up. We should have done that an hour.
I guess he appears, so I didn't know.
I said, I don't want that.
Okay, continue, because you were just gonna say something about the
I
Attorney Burke.
want to give him a minute, now I feel bad. I mean, we really need you to.
What's that?
Can you just, basically we're talking about the sidewalk issue. And
This
the
is
conversation.
Beechwood?
Yeah, and the conversation that happened
Mhm.
with the trustees as well as the applicants, basically regarding, going forward, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanna.
Yeah, I think, Jim, we're not gonna close the hearing, we'll
Yeah.
adjourn it. The suggestion is that one or two planning board members attend the next meeting when the applicant in a week can draw up the 5 different options and provide some input at the meeting to try to expedite things.
Oh, I guess with the mayor and a trustee.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, the applicant says they'll have drawings in about a week.
Okay.
And then, we'll really send 1 or 2 planning board members there to provide some, engineering, so to speak, input.
Right, they'll, just to be clarified, they'll be conceptual drawings.
Right, they're conceptual drawings, they're not, but they will have grades on them. I think that'll give you an idea. Grades and probably the survey, the right-of-way property owners,
Yeah.
and the trees. Those are important things. And the width of the road.
Yeah.
Existing. Yeah, that type of stuff. That's the basic stuff. Right? So that's what Dan's gonna contact Board of Trustees and just let them know that.
Yeah, I guess so we'll probably write a formal letter.
Yeah,
You look
that's
at it
fine.
just to sign, just to say you're
Yeah,
interested
quick
in being
letter.
at the meeting, being a part of it, and,
Right.
yeah.
I think it has to be stronger than we're interested. We would like 2 people to be there.
We'd like to, okay, 100%.
Yeah, we think it's important that 2 people
Yeah.
provide input. Okay.
Is this at a full trustees meeting or?
No.
Yeah.
No, there was a little meeting that you weren't at that is, if there's another meeting like that, to look at the 5
Yeah.
options.
I'm more than happy.
Preliminary
with,
drawings.
Dave is the trustees attorney, so he's handling that part of it, but I'm more than happy with that.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
The only thing this is a side note, but I guess just for you guys, is, so there's a revised set of plans coming, right, reflecting the roadways, the changes to the roadway and everything? Or the intersection between Belterra and Myrtle, and then is there any other new site plan?
That we have engineering drawings being worked on, so
Okay,
yes,
cool.
that will, is forthcoming.
Cool, okay, so as soon as we'll get that, we'll also prepare comments and have everything ready for next available meeting as well, so.
Okay.
That's really it for me.
Okay. Before we get to the end of this session, is there anybody here who would like to add a comment about the project and speak? Come on up. We've already had a large number of comments on this project at the first public hearing, and actually some written comments were handed in at the end of the meeting as well. If you just state your name and address, and then if you have questions or comments, just direct them to the board, please.
Hi, I'm Janice Fleischer-Meaton, 23 Old Post Road East, Port Jefferson. I'm Port Jefferson Civic Association recording secretary and been working on the walkability committee for 3+ years. And at one point we studied the Haydick engineering study for walkability, so there were drawings about those sidewalks. Mainly, we looked at around Scraggy Hill, so coming east from Belterre Road around Scraggy Hill, and that doesn't seem to be an issue for, the agreement for sidewalks for this community benefit, which is we're, thrilled that this covenant was agreed upon because it's much safer for the walkers, and there are many walkers in the community, to safely walk on a sidewalk. What I heard multiple times tonight, it just didn't make sense to me, because there's an architect and Michael Schwarting and someone that's worked with the Department of Transportation for many years, so they're very knowledgeable. Then they did go on site, Bob Larrabee did go on site with Beechwood, and we did have a Zoom meeting with Beechwood, and the tree issue doesn't seem to be realistic when 90 trees, they're talking about 90 trees, because it's cleared for the utility poles. Without having a plan exactly from the developer, I wouldn't know what the count was, or anybody else would know. But there was a lot of specifics given in the letter, the comment, during this comment period from the Civic Association. And we have a lot more information, because like I said, we have a couple of very knowledgeable people on our committee. So 90 trees really isn't any issue. I don't think there's a big issue with trees.
Okay.
From looking at this
Are
over
you
and
saying,
over and
I'm
over.
sorry to interrupt, are you saying that there aren't 90 trees that have to be removed?
That wouldn't make sense, because there's utility poles, and there would have had to be trees cleared for utility poles.
Well, but those utility poles have been there for many, many years, so
Yeah.
there may have been trees cleared. If you drive or walk down Myrtle and you look up, there are quite, like let's say, and I'm going to make up numbers, so don't hold me to it. Like let's say every 25 feet you have to remove 3 or 4 trees, or 2 to 3 trees, and you're going down quite a bit, and then you hit, I want to call it Canyon Creek, I don't know if it's Canyon Creek.
Yeah.
And then past that, you have additional property that would have to have trees removed. So I think that we're really not, we need those surveys to be accurate in our statements. I'm talking about me and anybody else. We really don't know what we're working with. But if the developer thinks it's 90 trees, I happen to lean towards that, because I'm hoping that he went in there and counted every single tree that would have to be removed.
Right. It would have to be more where the retaining walls would have to be. So with the slope, there is the distance is 0.7 miles from High Street all the way east to Scraggy Hill. It's 0.7 miles. So if there's a slope that needs a retaining wall, I would think that would be possibly where most of the trees would have to come down.
Correct.
If I may, if you look at along Myrtle to the west of Inwood, and then also past that property on the east side of High Street, there is slopes that begin right after the back of the curb, and you're going to need some space, obviously, for the sidewalk. Utility strip if it's decided. If not, generally the sidewalk becomes bigger. In any case, you need a retaining wall behind that. And then, depending on what retaining walls that are built and how they're constructed, you're going to lose, some more footage away from the road, and it would probably impact those trees. I don't know if it's 90 or if it's 30, but in any event, that's where I would anticipate the 2 areas that are going to need the most trees removed. And that's why we need the detailed plans to say, okay, this is what it's going to cost, or this is how we're going to build it, so the board of trustees can make a selection.
Okay. I appreciate
Okay.
the extension of the public comment period and you addressing our letter and all of our comments and trying to keep to the covenant.
Okay, Janice, you're recording secretary for?
The Port Jefferson Civic Association.
Oh, you just. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, anybody else from the audience want to come up and make a comment? Okay, come on.
I just wanted to address the comments. Do you want me to wait?
Oh, you can, no, you can, actually, yeah, you can come up and address that all
Sure.
before we go on.
Sure. So just in regards to the HADUP plan, that was a conceptual plan. There was discussions of HADUP. They didn't have data on that. So that was just a conceptual.
Okay.
And then we did have a tree survey done, so we do have that. Like Mr. Anderson said, with the retaining walls, if that's needed, the width of what needs to come down, expands as you go with retaining walls.
Okay.
Charles Brock, 307 Myrtle Avenue. I've walked that stretch of road hundreds of times, and I drive it almost daily. And I think the removal of 90 trees is somewhat of an exaggeration. The property up until Canyon Creek, moving west on Myrtle, that there is an adequate right-of-way there for a sidewalk, and it's flat. There's almost no grade there at all. The issue with trees will begin west of Canyon Creek, and that's where you're going to need retaining walls also. You're going to lose a number of trees just by virtue of the fact that you're going to basically disturb the roots of a number of trees, which in essence, you're going to lose them anyway, even if they're not specifically getting taken down. So you're going to need, this sidewalk is an imperative. I mean, I drive this road almost daily, and there are pedestrians of all sorts walking on that road, and it's dangerous. And it gets more dangerous as we move into the fall, and it's dark, and people are walking on that road, and they're taking their life in their hands. They really are. So it's imperative that this sidewalk get built. As far as any work that's being done, any surveying work, I drove on that road a few times this week, and I don't see any markers that anybody's doing any surveying work to determine what the right-of-way is. So, I mean, I know the comment was made it's being worked on, but without the evidence of any flagging or any stakes, that's kind of a stretch. And that's basically my position. It's got to be built. I would hate to see 90 trees lost, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. And I've lived on Myrtle Avenue my entire life, and the right-of-way generally is 10 feet if it hasn't been taken. There are some spots where the right-of-way was taken to widen Myrtle Avenue, but and I really don't know what the right-of-way is on that section of the road. When I grew up there weren't any curbs even on that section of the road. It was all like rocks or slate formed the gutters all the way from High Street east. So, again, that sidewalk needs to be built.
Anyone else in the audience? Okay. Oh,
Great, just
got it.
actually talking as a citizen for a second on this. You're supposed to be able to comment. I'm sorry. You want to talk first?
Doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
Nancy Hall, 24 Dickerson Court, Canyon Creek. It was interesting looking at the covenant that was shown earlier, which I believe alleviated some of our concerns, and that is if a sidewalk is built adjacent to our property, the liability will be the Village of Port Jefferson's. And that was a concern by our board, who would be liable for any accident that might happen there. The other concern has to do with the trees. We all love trees, and especially those of us who live on that hill. Our home happens to be on the hill looking over Myrtle Avenue. Port Jefferson has an interesting terrain. There's a lot of erosion here, and the village has spent a lot of money shoring up sections on East Broadway. We have to be very careful that the root system isn't irreparably damaged, because I'm sure I would hate to wake up one night and be on Myrtle Avenue in my home. So I do hope that that is taken into consideration. Homeowners' property is important, but also is the safety of that hill and the stability of the hill.
Mrs. Hill, I'm sorry.
A hall.
Hall, thank you. Close.
On the hill.
On the hill. Since you mentioned it about liability, I think one of the important questions is snow removal. So I would think that Beechwood would be no?
Village.
Village, okay.
Covenant.
And what about in front of Canyon Creek?
According to the covenant, it would be if that's the right of way, if that's the village property, it would be the village.
Either way, both parcels of village would be responsible.
I'm sorry, say again?
Both parcels of village would be responsible.
And now be in writing. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else comments?
Just
I don't
my
think
own
so.
personal observation is I do also walk this area every morning, and I did see survey crews, at least between Belterre Road and Scraggy Hill, the elementary school, wherever it makes it turn there.
Okay.
There was survey crews there, so just my own observation.
Okay. All right. Anyone has comments? Anyone else? Questions? Comments? No? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn the hearing to September 10th?
Also motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, to continue the meeting, we're going to move down there because there's no more public hearings. So just give us a 5-minute break to get reset up down there. Thank you. Okay, we're good. All right, we're resuming with work sessions going forward. Actually, first we'll get a staff update from our senior planner, Dan Gross.
All right. So not a whole lot tonight. The first thing I want to start with is today's actually Ava Cooper's last day or intern. She's going back to college, so we're very sad.
No, good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck and thanks for the cookies.
I'll hopefully be back.
Good.
We're trying, yeah.
Okay.
You know, she's been incredibly helpful this year, so we're very happy to have her.
Ava made your packets tonight.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
thank
good.
you.
Very good.
In terms of updates, so there's not a whole lot going on. Well, in terms of like from us, the one thing I wanted to mention is last time we discussed the potential for getting planning consultant services to kind of help out with the reviews. So at this time, what I'm told is that we, Haydock Engineering actually has staff on their team that can handle the planning side of things.
Okay.
They have, and basically right now what we're doing is we're reviewing the agreement to make sure that it can fit within the agreement. But as soon as we confirm that, the planning board will have an option now to refer projects to consultants to kind of help us with the review. Obviously, there's a substantial number of applications coming through now, and this is just kind of a way to help expedite it. But the way the code reads is it's something similar to the engineering reviews. It would be at the expense of the applicant. So an escrow amount would be established, and then.
And you would think that an applicant would want that because you're how many people, and in order for their application to be thoroughly reviewed and then on the next meeting, we need help.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's just so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. We did reach out to other firms to get quotes. I did get one from H2M.
Okay.
I haven't heard back from a couple others. Peter Gross was another option.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard back from them yet. But so there's a potential that in the future there might be more consultants, or that's something we're still trying to figure out on our end.
Do we need more than one just in case it's a conflict?
Yeah. Exactly. That's my thought. I know Haydock has their own backup but it's engineering. I'm not sure they have the same planning services, so we do have H2M's proposal, but there might be some others.
Suggest another one and know that does this kind of work out and easy. Probably knows as well as Nelson and Pope.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They definitely do that kind of work.
Nice thing.
You did get a proposal from H2M?
I did, yes. I did get a formal one from them and with. Yes, yeah, actually, Liz Herpers is the director of planning there.
Nice.
So she submitted.
And we know she's excellent, so
Yeah.
that would be, and she knows Port Jefferson very well.
Yeah.
That would be a good fit.
Lisa Herpers, she's a former.
Yes.
Yeah, planner here. So yeah, so that's something that's ongoing, but again, it's exciting. At least Haydock's there for us right now to start, and I think so I believe based on the current code, it should be in place to start these referrals. I don't know if we're gonna do such today, but going forward, it might be some things you recommend going forward.
Great.
Yeah, so it's exciting news for us.
I'm sorry before you jump off. Is Haydock able to give us some kind of scale of scope, size of project? It would be X retainer, so that we don't have to get an application in, get a pricing for planning staff review.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely ask for that. We have the hourly rate of the staff right now. Will be assigned to it, but not necessarily
based on a certain type of project. It will be the retain based on a certain size of or type of and size of project. The retainer will be X, and that way we don't have to wait 3 weeks before we ask for the retainer from the applicant. get started.
Oh, I understand. So you're saying when they submit the application,
Right.
that's when the
We tell
applicant
them-
would be asked? That's, okay.
Post,
Yeah.
$5,000 so we can get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And then it will be on an hourly basis beyond that.
Yeah.
Would we use this only for like the larger developments rather than a smaller?
That's kind of our recommendation, is like a lot of these big projects that are coming through, because, spoiler alert, there are a few more coming down the pipeline that are soon, maybe before you pretty soon. That's what we would like to use it for, at least we recommend it. The one thing too is we're currently exploring, and as you may have saw recently, there was a board of trustees work session where the building inspector and the fire marshal presented some fee updates and changes. Some of those are going to help support us to kind of basically meet up the modern cost of review and all the work we put into these applications. But as part of that conversation, one of the things that we're trying to explore is a potential code change that would allow us to request that up front, so that an application doesn't have to go to the planning board before the escrow is established. You can trust staff. Like last time, I think we talked a little about this.
That's kind of where I'm going with it. If you had a, basic fee schedule that you could just go to, say we need this to get things started.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. Trying to think of anything else. The only other thing I just want to mention quickly is we talked a lot about our policies and procedures and kind of how things are rolling here, and I think we're about ready to kind of start going pretty fully fledged into this with some new application forms, some guidelines to kind of help people through the process, like timelines, expectations. Submitting items is one of the things when we accept items when it's presented before the board that we have to work on. Right, I remember last time we discussed for completeness checks, right, that 3 weeks, submissions have to be submitted at least 3 weeks for a resubmission before the board meeting to be scheduled, and 4 weeks before if it's a brand new application. We do want to reaffirm that, and we also want to reaffirm that if an application is scheduled, we're not going to be accepting items at least a week prior to the meeting. So everything has to be submitted at least a week before. If it's not going to be able to be considered, unless it's something very minor, it can be amended. Obviously, we're going to be open, but just because it's not always fair to you guys when it's coming through, it's not always fair to us because we can't have time to review it. Now we're trying to answer questions on the spot. We just want to be, just as long as the board's supportive of that, we want to be a little bit more forceful on that, just to help things keep a little smoother, a little more fair to everyone.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And I guess that's really it about it for me. So.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we need to approve the July 9th draft meeting minutes. I've already commented. I think my comments have been incorporated.
Yeah, I didn't have any comments.
No comment. No comment. Can I get a motion to approve the July 9th draft meeting minutes?
All motion.
Second?
I'll second. Sorry.
Lee second.
Lee second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's 5-0. Okay, the next, as we've said before, the next meeting / public hearing,
Yeah, it's be both.
we have a meeting and a public hearing on the September 10th. On September 10th, that's our next meeting at 6 o'clock.
I just realized, do we have enough time to add Mary Haven to that?
Well, they don't have to re-advertise.
Oh, they don't have to, okay.
Germans.
I didn't want to say.
No, we can't add a new public hearing, but we can continue an adjourned public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Because there's no
Sorry.
need for
I just didn't want to throw a whole wrench. Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, first application for work session, 98 Soundview Drive.
He's here.
Not here.
No, I don't see him.
How did this come before you guys, just out of curiosity? Did the homeowner actually apply?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this one that homeowner actually applied, so.
Okay. I'm just curious if it was the roving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was in here in July.
You don't see what's yeah.
Okay.
This is the second.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm confusing the two.
Yeah.
I'm confusing this with a different one.
Oh, never mind.
No worries.
Do we have a new submission or no?
We do. We should.
I don't think it's in the packet.
I
was
mean,
forwarded, but
you went out to the.
I did go there. Yeah, so I can walk you guys through this. So last time we were here, it was indicated that it was a removal for 18 trees, right? Which is kind of what the agenda says. Some things were a little unclear at the time. So, right, the village code technically when it talks about the trees, so that 9 inches, and I think it's diameter is how it reads. It's a little weird in our code.
Yes, 9-inch diameter.
Yeah, and at a certain height, that's
Breast height, theoretically, which I don't, was that 4 foot? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the standard is.
So some of the trees he marked were well under that threshold, and he was a little unclear about the clearing regulations, so we went out there on site and met with him. There were 3 trees we authorized to remove under emergency permit.
Right.
They were damaged under the storms and leaning over the house and hollow inside, so we figured it was enough to be okay for emergency removal. And the application, what's presented tonight, is supposed to reflect some of the changes to both the number of trees, so it's been reduced from 18 to now 11, which they would like to remove. And we've asked them to show the square footage of the clearing limits, because it was a little unclear, I think, basically what clearing meant, what it didn't mean. We said it was basically the removal of any undergrowth and natural vegetation. So the plans have been revised. He did go out and measure himself. I think the property is currently 50% cleared based on his measurements, and then now it's going to be proposed to go to 52%. They do have a maximum clear limit of 60%, so it does comply with the code. My biggest recommendation is that if the board does approve it, that there be a condition for a final survey verifying the clear limits. It be staked out survey just to ensure it meets the code.
And all of that clearing is on flat, right? It doesn't slope until.
Very minimal, yeah. Where he's clearing is a flat part of the property.
Right.
It does. There are substantial slopes in the rear.
Right. And the hatched, the line. We have it open on this computer, but
okay.
the lines. That's the clearing.
Yes.
Those diagonal lines. Okay. That was my only.
You see, there is a new fence he's constructing, but he's not proposing to. I don't believe he's proposing to clear with that in that area. He wants to just put a black fence there because of. I know he's got a young son, so he wants to keep him safe. Away from that back part of the property. So, in terms of submission requirements, we don't really see this really being up to the board. You may choose to want to refer to the CAC or tree committee for comments. I think it's the tree committee, right? He's going to be submitting comments for the.
This one? I don't.
Yes, was that for this project, or that was for?
Not that I don't think this was referred to the tree committee.
No, it wasn't referred yet, but I thought they were already submitted.
He's also revegetating, correct? Isn't there?
Yes, so he's proposing screening on the sides there, so you can kind of see it. I think there are arborvitaes.
Arborvitae?
Yeah.
Arborvitaes.
Mount Laurel.
No.
What are shrubs?
Do we need?
Have any photographs?
Yeah, I believe we have in the folder we
We had
Oh,
first application.
He's also submitted a lot,
presentation.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why we would have to refer this to the tree committee. I think this is definitely along the lines of most every other house on that block. There's nothing out of the ordinary with this. I say we try and move this along as much as possible.
Yeah, I think we would have talked about it the first time.
Yeah.
Last time and said.
Oh, we've got him up there too. We got physicals.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, I don't know why. I would like to help this homeowner who's doing the right thing move through this process.
He's well within.
Yeah, well within. Yeah.
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 Okay. So, I mean, if you guys, I guess you could technically, I don't have a draft resolution prepared, but you guys could, if you want to move it, my only recommendation again is just, unless that makes sense, the survey would be the only thing I'd recommend, just to verify the
Clearing.
at the end of it. Or what do you think of that?
When he's finished.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fully complete.
That seems reasonable.
Excuse me? It might be helpful also just to, either with, fencing or just plastic fencing, just demarcate for, your department where the clearing is going to take place before he actually starts clearing. So you can just say, that looks right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, I don't know if we can do a resolution.
Well, isn't it specific trees Isn't it specific trees that he's taking?
Yes, so he's actually leaving some too, like in the clearing area. There are some trees that are gonna remain because they actually like it. They're like,
But there's undergrowth or something. That's why I was asking
Yes.
about those lines. Like, I'm assuming he's clearing some undergrowth.
he is, yeah, he's putting
Under-
grass into,
Yeah.
I think that's where they're showing, right, where he's drawing the lines, that's where the grass is supposed to be.
This is all supposed to be grass, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And everything beyond it, the undergrowth's gonna remain. And then there's gonna be the fencing further behind it.
And he marked the trees already, didn't he put axes on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought so.
Yeah, and I
That's
guess.
the one where the neighbor's tree came down on his garage?
Yes. Well, it didn't hit it just missed the house, thankfully, but yeah, that's.
But that spurred him to get the trees cleared.
Can we do a reso today? We don't have a reso.
We do something similar to the library where
Yeah.
you
I would
allowed it
say-
to proceed and then we bring the resolution forward to the next
Yeah.
meeting. That was, as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah, if you get the
Yeah.
standard, we talked about marking and clearing.
Yeah.
limits, the usual guarantee of the new, what is it, 3-year
It's
guarantee?
usually a 3-year guarantee.
3-year guarantee of vegetation. There's not much else, right, on these that
Um,
we need?
Typically, no, just, we just,
Referrals
condition
to
saying
the-
any clearing beyond
Referrals
this.
to the drawing with a.
Right, so the black dots are with the trees that are coming out?
I made it.
Which-
Oh.
Just got off the train.
That's good, because we're just about done.
I've been watching you guys the whole time.
Have you?
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't say that, that's not true. Okay, sorry. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Well, no, that's okay. I mean, you pretty much summarized it, I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, the question was the black dots are the trees coming down?
The black dot, well, I don't see the top of it. The black dots are the ones that are.
Yeah.
To remove.
Yes, to be
Okay.
removed.
So you could just reference the.
Reference the,
Right.
that drawing, yeah,
Reference the
sheet.
drawing.
The plan. It's a
Plan.
It's a
Yeah.
plan.
It's a cheap plan, it's a plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so just looking to, we got rid of some 9-inch ones that were up to code.
Mhm.
Thank you for the 3 emergency ones. One is still yet to be removed because it's propped by my neighbor's tree. He's approved me to remove that. So that's happening on the 28th. That'll be his one of 2 trees.
Okay.
Is that to the north of you?
He's to the right of me, what is
I
that?
think it's
West?
Oh, to the-
East.
East,
East.
yeah, I'm looking at the east.
He's east of
On
me.
East Gate? He's on East Gate?
Yeah, he's the
East
corner
Gate.
house, yeah. And that's a weird spot because that's it's actually his backyard that butts up against my side.
The only thing that I would recommend to be added to this drawing, which could be part of the resolution, is just dimensions from the house to the back of the clearing, just so that when we go, we can see, like, how many
Okay.
feet
How many feet?
from the house to the end of those lines. Am I missing that?
To the clearing line.
I put that in the.
Is it?
That's in the proposed email that I sent.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Oh, you wrote
roughly-
the letter. Yeah,
It's in the letter.
My bad.
It's roughly 5 to 7 feet, and then that's how can you scroll this down? I mean, up. So, it's 307 square feet represented by the trees when you total all 11 up. But I'm proposing that I go 2% more clearance, which obviously is way more than 307 square feet, because it's linear to make the property look more appealing in a lined format. So that's where I got the 52% representing this much square feet. So still 8% under 60% clearance. I don't know what else more I can do other than bring you all to my house.
Yeah, no, that's, as long as there's a dimension somewhere that you can reference, it's fine.
Basically, they just want to know how many linear feet are from the back of your house to the back.
Oh, from like existing and then extended included?
Just this
You're
dimension
going
right
to
here.
clear too.
From
That
here to the end of this, whatever those lines.
What are the hatch marks?
The lines would be grass.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
most of which is already there. I just would be replacing with better grass.
Okay, so we just want to know how many feet from the back of the house to the end of the grass.
So that when somebody goes for your final,
To measure it?
right, they have a measurement that they can see, they don't have to look at it.
Yeah,
It's
you
just a
should-
small little,
You just amend your
you know.
plan and add that
Do I have
dimension.
to wait till the next?
no, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no, that's
Yeah.
why I'm just, we're
Okay.
just, we're trying to make this easier for you. And even though we don't have a resolution before us today, we're verbally agreeing on the wording of the resolution so that we can give you your approval
Got it.
today, so that you don't have to come back again
Okay.
in 3 weeks.
No, I appreciate it.
Because you have, done all the things that we've asked you to do, and really, you've done this all the right way, so we're trying to work
Okay.
with you. Right? That's, yes.
So do I just provide that to you, or?
Yeah.
In other words?
Yeah, so we'll send you a list of everything, like, you'll have a resolution, with all the conditions in it, and then I'll send you an email tomorrow following up with.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha, stuff.
Yeah, so I motion we approve this based on the verbally agreed to resolution. Does that cover it?
Verbally agreed to conditions?
Conditions.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Which I approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Because it was
Well,
here
short
before.
meeting.
So
Okay.
I hope you guys aren't here too late.
Yes, thank you. Sorry you,
Pouring out?
No, it was worth it.
yeah.
Pouring out?
It's torrential, yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't.
Hi,
Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's, yeah.
Go away. I put my big umbrella away before I came.
I just did it once in my car. The car's not full.
Your golf umbrella?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Great. Inviting a partner.
This is the one I'm just gonna make a little statement about.
The 111 North Country?
Yes.
Okay. You were the one that was assigned to it.
Okay.
No, I
Oh.
don't think so. No, it wasn't.
No, why don't you wait till, this is Parker's. This is yours, one of them. All right, wait a second, because,
Well, Parker's good.
yeah, this Parker's coming up.
Right, you know.
Okay, yeah, all right. So this is 111 North Country. Before you get started,
Yeah, I'd like-
Lee would like to say something.
Yeah, I'd like to make a statement for the record. My firm, NEI Long Island, recently handled the sale of this property. We represented the seller. I'm the principal of the company, but I was not directly involved in the transaction. And our firm did not represent the applicant that is before us right now. So I feel comfortable not recusing myself. If the applicant has any issues with me listening to this, being involved in the app, I'm certainly willing to step aside.
Yeah, I have no issue.
Okay. We don't. All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Hello, Chairman and Board. For today is a tree clearing grading application at 111 North Country Road, currently improved story professional, dental, and office building situated within the RO residential office district. You had made a comment that it was the PO, it's not the PO. I had double checked our zoning map that we have on record and verified that, and all applicable regulations are accounted for. First thing I could say of note is that the specific property abutting the district next to it would require a buffer, which is already there, so it doesn't have to be discussed. The actual application itself proposes the removal of 6 trees and then revegetation. If you can move that up. I believe they propose some light grading as well and mulch tops and stuff like that, which we'll get to momentarily. Just want to see what it looks like.
Hold on.
For the PNG.
Huh? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry. Not as good as you.
The Scalise one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm pulling it up here so that Jen,
Yeah,
we
I
don't
was
have
like-
to turn.
I was thinking of having that portion of the table over here so that you could see it, but Okay, so, so as you can see on the plan, they have topsoil with the dogwood trees and evergreen bushes arranged in that manner. That's how they propose it currently. As opposed to the existing, if you want to put that one up really quick, just so you can see what's there currently and versus what's proposed. For the,
Parker, do you have my pictures up there?
they are in the file, so we can pull them up as well.
Okay.
Do you want the physical?
Go for the applicant site photos.
Applicant's photo?
Yep. Should be one that says something with X's. Yep, that one. So this is a photo from the applicant showing with X's the trees to be removed on site. So you can see there's 6 there. Currently, the applicant expressed that they were...
North Country Road.
Yes, north side of North Country Road, going towards Mather Hospital, I believe. The applicant said that the trees were impeding almost nearly to the electrical lines going through, and overall just looked distasteful from the street side. So that's the purpose of doing it, plus to make the site look more serviceable. I don't know if the applicant is here, if they wish to give their piece. See none, hear none. Any questions?
I do, with the revegetation plan, it just says topsoil. Are they gonna put any kind of mulch on there to prevent?
I believe so. It was to
Okay.
the amount of like 2 to 4 inches or something. like
Okay,
that.
do we need that on the plans?
So I think we have the topsoil and not the mulch.
My concern when I went to visit the site was that there's some land creep. So the parking lot is up above North Country Road, and it's sloping down, and the curbing around the parking lot is starting to break up. So I was a little bit concerned that when those 6 trees come down, and it kind of looked like it'd be, the original application said 4 to 6 trees. And I just thought, well, it could be a little bit more the way the trees look. But once those trees are taken down, what's gonna hold back that little slope?
This is what this is
Right.
why we
And-
need some sort of mulch or.
But it's enough where mulch or soil is not gonna hold back the erosion.
Do we have a topographical?
It's not a lot of slope there.
There's not a lot of slope. What you're talking about is the corner of that lot where it kind of like breaks out. I think you
Well,
have your photos up on the
Yeah,
screen.
if you
We'll
can
cycle
get the
through it.
photo that is more on North Country Road,
Yeah, just cycle through them.
yeah.
Keep going.
On the right there.
Keep going. That one.
Yeah, that one is so yes, it's not a big slope, but once those trees
Right.
come down, what's holding the hill, and I don't think topsoil and mulch will do it. So the applicant had written somewhere in here that he was gonna leave the stump in there for stabilization,
What?
right? Yeah, yeah.
No.
That was his plan.
So not putting in the bushes that they're showing?
Oh, I believe he's gonna put in the bushes, but my concern was, hey, when those trees come out, you have some land creep going on there, this. As you can see the land creep as indicated by the curb on the parking lot. And the curb is breaking apart, and it's because things are sloping down
Yeah.
towards North Country
Do
Road.
we have any drainage calculations for any of this? And any possibility of fixing any of this?
That has not been provided as part of the
Well-
application as far as I know.
I have heard that there are plans to replace the parking lot.
That would
That
help
would need to be
tremendously.
part of this
Yeah, that
application
would-
then.
Yeah.
Right?
So currently this application is just for the tree clearing and grading, and that would be the only thing within the purview currently.
Okay, that's all they've applied for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the application, I like the removal of the trees, because you can see it's time for those trees to go. My question was, a lot of things were not, but the answer to my questions were more specifically, I'm gonna take out these trees, this is where the bushes are gonna be. He didn't have what type of bushes, and what type of, I think it's dogwood in there, but I think he came back with a little bit more information. But I still think that when those trees are taken down, if his intention is to leave the stump as a stabilizer, I think it needs to look a little bit better than that.
It's also hard to imagine these plantings surviving. I mean, even in this photo, you can see an enormous root. The soil looks pretty poor. He's not proposing vegetation. I'm a little concerned that nothing will last here.
There's no irrigation.
Yeah.
So you pull up
And
the revegetation plan.
Is it possible to say no to this tree clearing and grading application and say, you need to come before us and show us how you're going to, like an actual site plan for the parking lot that will include all of this? This would be part of a site plan, revegetating, right? Because it's clear that they need to fix a lot of things on the property.
The vegetation that he's showing is not the problem area that I'm concerned with.
I was going to say that.
Okay.
It's that
Corner of the parking lot on the
right.
south.
It's between the parking lot and North Country Road that I'm concerned about.
Why couldn't we simply go back to them and say, you have to provide a better plan of what you're proposing in that area? Because the adequacy of the tree roots holding the soil more than a year, because it'll all start to rot out.
Yeah.
And, just gotta have a better plan.
Yeah, we can provide that in a post-meeting memo to them requesting that kind of information.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
And find out what he's doing with the parking lot. Because that, I mean, there are repairs that are obviously necessary, especially that one road we saw in the photographs.
Any other questions? All right.
So the next step, you guys want to cite, so, sorry to jump in, but the next step is you guys want to cite the development plan amendment submitted? Or it's still going to be a TCG?
I personally, after seeing Barbara's photos and having her weigh in, I think this is beyond the scope of a tree clearing and grading.
Okay.
So is it, you tell me, do they have to do a site plan amendment?
That's what it
Or
would
do
be.
they have to, is there some other process that's, because obviously there's some drainage issues, which is why whatever that curb thing is.
Yeah.
So
site
do
plan
we
amendment.
deny the tree, do we deny this and then say you have to come and provide? Can we force somebody into a site plan? I don't think so.
No.
Right, so what's our next step if we're not happy with what we have here? I guess is,
Well, you can provide comments and feedback back to the applicant, things you want to request as part of the submission.
okay,
Site plan amendment, we have to look at 25010 of the code, that's what the triggers for site plan, activities requiring site plan approval. Changes to an approved site plan is part of it, but it usually includes like pedestrian flows, vehicle traffic, but it says any changes made to an approved site plan. That may be the catch-all.
okay.
But again, like you said, I can't, unless it meets it,
So,
unless Jim wants to weigh in, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, it would depend on which, a CO for what they have there and been there for, I can remember, so, unless there's,
but when you notice physical damage like this,
well, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, because the TCG wouldn't address the physical damage. It
Right.
would be, there's those property maintenance laws, but then there would
Okay.
also be, which could be the,
There's code violations, then you can sign up for that.
That would go for code.
But is there, what is the project now? I'm sorry.
They're concerned, I'll show you, they're like, things like this.
see,
You know,
my
it's disrepair.
concern is that the applicant has stated that once those trees go down, he wants to use the stumps to stabilize that slope. And our concern is, well, the stumps are gonna rot. So is there something better he can do to stabilize that slope? So in 5 to 10 years, all of a sudden it's not in North Country Road.
Can you put up the X picture?
That's a fair comment, though.
So I should say that the trees that are being removed, I don't believe are near that kind of break in the parking lot and would only just be on the other side of the property and wouldn't inhibit the current existing drainage, which I don't believe has had any complaints or adverse things against it like that. So.
which trees exactly is he looking? Can you go back to the site plan?
Yeah.
And just show us, yeah,
What's that?
there you go, on the left.
No, let's go to the application.
It looks like that tree's coming out.
President Parker?
Go to the application.
It's in the actual
original-
application itself?
Yeah, that has the survey on it where they show loosely the spots where the trees would be removed.
Yeah.
Or the survey, we'll see if we can find a good spot for it. It should just be in the TCG, as far as I remember.
If I go back, it should be here.
Yeah, you have it right there. Third one down.
That one?
Third one down.
Third one down.
Sorry, couldn't hear you.
You scroll down.
Okay.
So yeah, go back.
This?
Just rotate it a little bit.
Okay, so the break is around here, and the trees that he wants to remove are here.
I think the trees he wants to remove are a little more to the east.
More to the east.
To that blank spot where all the topsoil
You
stuff
have a
was
picture that
proposed.
shows the 6 trees with X's on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying to get.
It's hard to tell
It's
from
hard
that
where they
picture.
are.
You can see the building there.
That's to the east of the driveway.
It looks here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where the bushes are going.
Right.
Because when I was taking pictures, most of the trees that are west of there are,
East of there.
when I was taking pictures, I was facing the west, not the hospital.
Right.
And the applicant had stated that he's concerned about the wires going through the trees. And those are the ones that I saw. I saw wires going through those trees. So because I didn't have anything that said, no, it's these trees, that's what I was concentrating on. We didn't get, we didn't get the picture with the X's on until we had requested, hey, what trees do you want to remove?
So it's all those.
So when I was on the property, I was concentrating on the trees west of,
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was concentrating on those, assuming that those were the ones he wanted to come down, because those are the ones that have wires going through them.
So I'm looking at Google now, and the trees that we're talking about, they look like they're right next to the parking lot, if he's taking those trees down. They're, okay.
Well, the parking lot, if you can go back to that picture, Laura. Okay, so the parking lot is on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
right there.
hang on, I'll get it. So look, when I drop the Google man here and look to here, all these trees are also in the wires.
Okay, so that's
So,
what I
and if
was
he's
assuming.
saying he's leaving the stumps in order to hold up that next to the parking lot, how are we not to interpret that he's taking those trees down?
As far as I know, the
See-
trees on the east side of the property are the only ones. The
Right,
east
yeah,
side,
put the
on
X's
the
and
frontage.
it's to the
Okay.
east.
I mean, I would
like
make
to
it-
have a
better
survey that
plan.
shows
Existing
where the,
trees.
Yeah.
where the trees
Yes.
are coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Because
at
that was-
least have the applicant here explain
Yeah,
it.
explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why those trees when there's other trees on the property that are 100% impeding
Worse.
the, yeah.
I think because those trees are blocking the building itself from the road, that may be the reason. He said that the trees were ugly or something to that extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need better information.
I would also suggest if somebody could get some dimensions to those trees, only because if you look where are the trees within his property, or are they within the village right of way?
I don't believe they're within the village right of way.
Okay, because the other ones to the west of the entrance appear that they could be on that.
Right of way
Yeah,
here.
and if you look here, there's a drain
Yeah. Well, that never
that
stopped
has
the
that
village before.
railroad tie
Yeah,
going back. Whose is that?
Well, that would be.
That would be, I think, one by us. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Do you know
So-
that, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. There was a submission today at 3:22 PM
Yeah.
on this project?
I believe there was.
Okay, that
Yes.
might be helpful.
Do you
I
have
don't know if it's,
the materials for the property?
it was, I see, it was an email.
It was an email.
Oh, we got it today, right?
I mean,
Yeah, it came an hour before.
An
the
hour
office
before
closed,
closing.
And we didn't get everything in hard copy.
So it's not official yet.
And it's,
Didn't even open.
We didn't know what it, we can,
We were out here setting up for the
one
meeting.
second.
Maybe you could review what just came in and then contact the applicant and say, show up in the next meeting and explain it.
so,
Yeah.
I'll bring all the
Unless-
ideas together, see if I
Right.
can get some.
Unless the new submission explains it.
Yeah,
Right.
and show the
I don't
tree
even see
removal on the survey, so
Mhm.
see exactly where.
Exactly, because I
Some
misinterpreted, I
information.
thought it was west of that
What
and
we
not
originally
east.
asked for the removals, we
Oh,
put
it's for a
the
different
X's on the
application.
tree
It wasn't this
back.
one.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Because
this
I
one.
had given
Yeah, we
their
didn't see
comments
anything
originally
with
back
this
to
Oh, I'm
them,
sorry.
asking for
That
this.
was,
No,
Yes.
it was
Right?
the other one,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't
oh, was it
remember.
different?
They are
No,
different.
I'm wrong. No, I'm coming in anyway. Put them on the agenda.
There was a lot of stuff that.
Well, you're gonna
people
send
were
them a
out
list
here
of
setting
things
up.
that we want.
That'll be in the post meeting.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's do that.
Any other questions?
Included in those comments will be how he's going to irrigate any revegetation.
Yeah. We'll see to it.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if we said it already, that's why.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, anything else? Right, the next one is 12 Stern. Did you review the submission, Jen, from 322? What do you have?
Oh, wait, was there? oh.
Today.
Hi.
I'm sorry. I thought it was, no.
Oh, it's
No.
412 Stern? I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got it.
12
Is
Stern,
it
322.
11 or
I reviewed it.
Oh,
Just-
Yeah, I got some.
Hour before closing.
I know, I think I was showering.
Thank you.
You can't double task.
Have to waterproof.
Oh, sorry, yes, that submission was for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was
didn't know you were here.
I was just, you know what it was, I was just getting ahead of it, whether it was seen tonight or not. I just wanted to get it off my plate so it was taken care of and, and that was it.
Was there anything new in the submission?
So I kind of reviewed the notes for tonight and just addressed like erosion control and staging and things like that on the plan.
Okay.
So yeah, just kind of tried to hit everything that was on there just so it's all resolved. So I'm Chris Chapek, the architect for the client, Dr. Thomas at 12 Stern. Scope of the project is replacement in kind of a 465 square foot deck on a slope.
Okay.
Replacing kind, same footprint. The only thing is we're shrinking it down slightly to 444 square feet. It is on a slope, proposing structural cross bracing, 14-inch piers, hopefully relatively close to the same spot that they're in already. Riprap for stabilization around the piers, tying into the existing structural slab that consists in the patio. And no new drainage is proposed. No changes to the grading or drainage to the site. And that's pretty much it.
Question, does the patio need to, what part, articulate this, does the patio lead directly into, what part of the house does the patio directly lead into?
To the first floor, lower level.
Which is?
Well, lower level, so it's,
Is that living space?
I believe so. Yeah, I've never been in the house, so, other than like right inside the main entry. So you enter on the first floor, and it's a basement walkout.
Basement walkout. Do you have any photographs
Of
the deck?
the deck, yes.
Yeah, he might have
Okay,
some
yeah.
there, too.
I know there was some taken at the site, so.
Right. I don't know if you guys, Parker took a number of them.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
So while we're looking at these, I have a quick question.
Sure.
It's been ages since I did soils engineering. So you're removing completely the piles that are existing.
Yes.
So you will be not damaging, but you will be adjusting the soil
Yes.
that's there. How are you planning to
It'll be recompacted.
recompacted?
Recompacted in that area.
Okay, and do we need any soil boring data, or are we good with, I'm gonna leave that up to people who actually may have done this for.
They're also going in deeper.
They are,
Yeah.
okay.
3
Yes.
feet
But,
now,
so
they'll
you
be
do-
extended to 4.
Yeah,
so
air
hopefully
virgin or compacted soil.
Okay. To whatever the building standards are
Yeah.
for the, okay, okay. Thank you.
Did I see a stairway next?
Yeah, to the left of red.
Yes.
I have a question about that stairway.
Okay.
And the purpose of its existence at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly.
There are areas, the stair doesn't have a railing, and there are areas where the treads are substantially above grade. Like,
Yeah.
I think beyond what the code allows. So would the applicant consider removing a portion of the stair or putting a railing?
I don't see a purpose to it.
Right.
So it's possible.
It's just, it's a little hazardous.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not sure when it was built, what the code was, but I mean, because that house goes back a long time.
It does, it
so,
does. It was, yeah. 76 or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a subdivision. But.
I
yeah.
can ask them.
Yeah, I don't think it's a large removal. And the most dangerous part is the, furthest down slope.
Probably doesn't get a lot of use.
I can't see
It
it
doesn't
getting
go
a lot of use.
anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Deer will use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure back in the day when this house was built, it wasn't vegetated as
Yeah.
much as it is now.
And to be honest, it's an
But-
85-year-old retired doctor. Like,
Yeah.
I
I
would
would not use the stairway.
Did you guys address how much of that vegetation that we're discussing is going to be impacted by the construction of this, and how does that
So,
affect the slope
It should
stability?
it should only be hand augers
I don't know.
bringing that out. No heavy equipment back there, so the disturbance should be very minimal.
There's almost no way to bring back.
Yeah, there's no way to bring anything back there
No
other
equipment
than that
back
way.
there.
So,
And
anything that's removed is going to be used to backfill the previous piles if they're not in place, if it's not in the same spot.
And I'm not sure Parker would agree with me, but I felt that they're sort of downhill from the deck. It didn't look like there was any washout that typically happens. It's pretty well vegetated. It's mostly stuff that deer don't look
Yeah, that's
like.
usually the best sign that the slope is stable when there's persistent vegetation running down. Sure.
So I think, I didn't see the email, but it's good. I think during
Yes.
construction,
Yeah, so
particularly, we're gonna
basically
need
I'm
hay
calling out
bales
for
and-
yes, silt fence hay bales right at the bottom of downslope of the construction area. Basically, I think I wrapped around the bottom of the stairs and came up a little bit.
Okay.
If the stair, it can move up if the stairs end up getting removed. So that's always a possibility. Staging I have in the driveway. They just have to bring everything up. I mean, you saw now either of those two stairs to get up and down. That's really the only way back there. And I kind of indicated that as the existing stair and the dash line. I can't really dictate which direction they go because that's means and methods.
Yep.
But I called it out as being the staging area. All spoils have to go to the staging area. Nothing's going to be stored on the slope. None of that. So that's all addressed in the drawings.
Did you address the hypothetical maybe needing more grading and drainage?
Well, I wasn't proposing any drainage because we're not really changing anything. So we're not collecting water on the deck. The deck will be you're able to drain through the board. So nothing's really changing.
And like you said, there's no heavy equipment.
No, can't hit it back there.
Yeah, you won't be able to do heavy equipment back there.
Do we need a building inspector review, or building department review, because it's a slope? I mean,
Well, structure, yeah.
yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was-
Well, no matter what, it needs a building permit.
Building, it's type 1.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's the,
That's
yeah.
the question.
That's the
That's the
question
question.
tonight. But the secret action is a big question.
I
Yeah,
also,
the
I
chapter.
think in terms of building, we talked about it on site, that I think a detail for.
Well,
the
I actually,
post.
I
Did you add it?
added notes for the handrail as well, for the
Okay.
handrail
Because
stabilization. It's
there's-
right, actually right above the detail, right, the stair detail right there now.
Okay.
Just through bolting, no toe nailing,
Okay.
anything like that. It needs to be able to withstand a 200-pound shock or the code, so that's all on there.
Okay, good. Because there's a 8-foot drop off, basically, so you need a strong railing.
The deck itself, I'm talking about.
And I'm sorry, not to beleaguer this point. I feel like I must be missing something, because when I look at that detail of the,
Rip wrap?
yeah, that to me is replacing
It's
some
only-
vegetation that's already
It's only
there.
going down about 4 to 5 inches. It's not
Okay.
substantial at all.
But, so you will have to remove some vegetation that's there to
It's
put
all
those
under
in.
the deck.
Yeah, it's all under the deck.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing growing.
So,
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, you can
There.
see.
Yeah.
So not the further,
No,
Okay.
nothing past the footings of the deck.
okay.
Yeah, I like the hard projects.
Or Jeff will keep you.
Yeah,
busy.
I'm actually an architect for Stony Brook Hospital, so that's usually what I handle there. I take on the complex stuff. It's my forte.
Always fun.
I mean, all of our comments, based on that discussion, were pretty much addressed. That was our biggest concern, was obviously to review the plans. Yeah, the biggest question though is basically secret. As you know, our village code, yes, has the thing that says any action involving land for 20% or more, no, 30% or more is consistent with slopes, 20% or greater is a type 1 action under secret. That being said, I know you submitted a response. And
Yeah, we're trying to seek type 2 under New York State conservation law. I know that's what the chapter 129 is built off of. So that was kind of the request that we were making to try and not have to go through the secret review and get into buildings for review.
Okay, so who would review that and make that determination?
seriously, really, you
No,
guys.
no, you mean,
I-
if it was a type 2.
I think it's it's per beaker, it's, I believe, a type 1.
It's
I'm
hard
not
'cause-
understanding your argument. Like what specifically, because it's in kind?
In kind.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
never approved.
That's the
Yeah, it was
problem.
never-
It's very, it's a weird scenario,
Yeah.
because it's like, say it was just in place in kind, and there was no sorts of this slopes. There's a New York State exemption, right, the type 2 actions list, and that it probably could fall under. But because it was never approved in the first place, there was never an environmental assessment on it, and we have our Beaker code, right, as Jen said, so when we initially got it, that was our first recommendation, but again, we wanted to bring it before the board to discuss that aspect of it, because it's a little tricky. I know Jim also wrote an opinion on it and submitted that as part of the record, saying this is, it could be a type 2, right?
Right,
But
ultimately,
it's up to the board, right?
yeah, this question actually, is the board has jurisdiction, because it's not a planning board application.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, that's not a problem.
That's the other issue. Hold that again, Jim? It's not, there's no application before the planning board, there's nothing, there's no application, there's nothing here that's within the planning board's jurisdiction, other than this, I guess, the secret, Dan brought it because
I see.
it's an action taking place
I see.
within a steep slopes. Other
Yeah,
than
they
that,
went for a building permit.
Yeah,
Yes.
building, that's all there is right now, is a building permit application, so.
No, not even. We had
You don't have a-
we had the pre-submission conference, and that's where it came up in the pre-submission conference.
Right, so that's all there is. So then it's a question, is the type 1, that's,
I asked around my planning people and like people I deal with, they said, obviously, in these situations where something is clear, I guess it goes down to what's an action, right? It's a type 1 if it's an action within the steep slopes, that's in our code. But what does that contemplate? Does that contemplate an action if you're going to be doing a grade change, a substantial grade change or work here? Does that, I asked my planning director in Southampton, I said, well, she doesn't consider decks, and even though it would be, but for, it would fall into like a type 1 category in the code. It's, the action doesn't warrant the type 1 because it doesn't raise it up to the level of where it's changing the grades.
So are you saying, Jim, that if there was no deck there at all, and they came before us and said, hey, we want to put a deck in, it wouldn't be a type 1?
It wouldn't be,
even if it was a brand new deck?
They'd be applying for a building permit. It's not something that this board has jurisdiction on.
That's the problem, is 250, right? There's 250-10 which tells you what requires site plan, and that with certain activities, but it specifically exempts residential accessory structures. The VCRA code's vague on it. There's nothing in the code that says a type 1 action does go before the planning board or the building inspector. But, right, there's nothing in that's what we were looking at. We're like, it's a kind of a jurisdictional concern, because we're like.
We also send retaining walls.
Yes.
Which are building permit applications, but those are reviewed.
That's not really an accessory.
Well, those are under the.
It's development on a slope, though.
It's development on a slope.
As is this.
But it's not.
That's chapter 241.
I think that's more significant.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a more significant action than placing them.
In this one, you're almost just penetrating it at certain spots, and you're changing the slope, but a retaining wall would be maybe impacting the slopes.
So where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line in how extreme or not extreme an action is? Is it grade change on a slope? Or is it, I mean, if you were...
Under the state secret, right, it's, decks are traditionally type 2. You can use that as a guide.
It's also unlisted. That's the whole other option.
Unlisted?
Unlisted action, which it's kind of a mix of both. Because technically, I mean, you are also the only agency with jurisdiction, like, right? I didn't even know.
It's harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for site work, that's beyond the purview of buildings, building inspector. Or the building code doesn't speak to.
Jim's argument won me over. Did you read his memo?
It's in the package. Yeah, it should be attached to the staff report.
It's just from polling planning has in a couple of jurisdictions, it's kind of a big difference. That's the responses I was getting at now. Decks, they just refer to them. They're not to the building. It's not causing any kind of great change.
There's no substantial change to the site other than just a replacement kind, even though they didn't get the permit approval. So I tend to agree with Jim on the type 2. I don't see it. Again, this was something the homeowner was trying to do the right thing. So I'm kind of.
I'm not curious where the stairs go.
So I kind of agree with this, but I reserve the right to not have this be a precedent, because had there been drainage issues, had there been issues with the deck and a homeowner below, or if they had violations, I would still like to be able to say, if it was an issue and it had never been looked at before, then obviously it needs to be I don't know if we can be gradient like that. Like, okay, yes, it's survived this long, it's on a slope, but we're replacing it in kind. There are no issues. However, I don't want it to be a precedent that other people come in, their deck's failing, it's falling down, the slope is sliding. Then we could, I hope we could still say, no, just because it's a deck doesn't mean that it's not a type 1 action.
Well, and there is a home below it, there's no doubt.
Right, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Exactly what
I
you're
don't want
saying,
this to be a precedent that now, all of a sudden, any deck on any slope is now no longer subject to.
Well, can it be worded that this does not require it because, ba-da, and then when the next one comes
I leave
across.
that to
Create stable.
Yeah. Right, and then the next one that comes, well, this is clearly not like the first one.
That's assuming this is in fact a site plan application rather than a building permit application.
Yeah, that's the issue.
So that's another thing that needs to be decided.
So when people come to redo a deck on a slope, you're saying that it needs to be a site plan instead of just a building?
Well, the code right now it would be, unless there was regrading over 4 feet. Yeah, that's how the code reads, regrading over 4 feet. Then it would, anything with regrading over 4 feet would be a site plan issue. If it's technically a TCG application. Technically, without that, the code is big on it because residential structures and accessories, like you can build a single family home without planning board approval based on 250-10.
Sure. So does the building inspector then do seeker?
That's the question. Can a building inspector do seeker? They don't.
They don't.
I never heard.
No,
So we can change
no.
it. Well, we are. So there's 2 things that are obviously, as you know, are underway. One of them is the environmentally sensitive lands code, which is going to have steep slopes codes written in it to regulate any activity on slopes. So that is something that our department's working on, trying to get it through the finish line with all your input on when we get there. And the other thing is, though, we can look at the code and unless for that section of code to the extent unless the action's a type 1 action, that would bring it before the planning board for site plan approval. If that's all right.
That seems like a good compromise to me.
Yeah. Just a good example for,
Yeah.
for helping
This is a
write new
good
code.
example.
Helping
It
write
is.
new code.
Yes.
You think of that. It's evolving, right? It's a living and breathing code.
That's dynamic.
Yeah, that's important. Okay.
So unless if this is a site plan application, we need to make a decision. So is it a site plan application?
Yes. It's type 2 action. Well, does the board agree it's a type?
How will these, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're gonna address that in the steep
Right.
slope, that if an application like this came before the board and there were issues and it was deemed that it would possibly be a type 1 action, then it would be forced into site plan.
Oh, absolutely, understood. I'm just talking about tonight's application and how it moves forward.
We have a decision to make?
About whether it's goes to the building official with a type 2 or.
The building official still has to make a secret, type it, determine what it is. And does the building inspector do that?
Do they have to if it's not a site plan?
They're just inspecting, they don't give us.
Yeah.
The next
Like, does it-
they don't, building officials don't do, building inspector won't do the secret. Doesn't require.
But it is a steep slope, so.
But we don't have enough code.
No,
The problem is
understood.
our code isn't. Yeah.
It's vague. Any development on a steep slope on a site that's got X, Y, and Z.
Like Boulder Coral went before you because of the amount of disturbance to the slope, because they were excavating and the slope was more than 4 feet of regrading. Like that's why that was all planning board purview.
Right, that's all, that's a.
Building on a flat land,
Different
that's
animal.
exempt. Yeah. Sure. I guess it's building.
I have no idea.
I would say,
I'm
that really it's a building permit application.
So it's type 2 and it goes to the
Building inspector.
building inspector.
But we don't designate it type 2.
We don't have an
It's not
application.
here.
It's
It's
not
not
your-
in
yeah.
the
No,
determination.
you don't have, there's no action.
So we don't have to do anything.
No.
You don't do anything.
No.
It's resolved.
No, it's a good discussion, and I think it's good points. for
No,
everybody.
it's really good, because in case this comes up again.
Yeah,
we've
no,
done
and
it.
I think there is, the law makes that distinction. That there are gonna be some slopes where they're unstable to begin with, so those should really be
Because we have
real
that.
close, as opposed to this one where.
Yeah, we had that on Campbell or,
Mhm.
That's exactly the one I'm thinking about.
yeah,
Campbell,
that's the one I'm thinking about.
That's real steep slope.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go through that code?
All right.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
We just wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
Meet some new people, you know?
Yeah.
All right, take care, everyone.
So we got 1 Reeves Road, is the next application.
Yeah, it's a small.
More interested in the one we just did.
Oh, yeah, we approved this.
Yeah. She
This one's gonna be easy, right, Parker?
Everybody ready? Okay. Hello, Chairman and Board. This is a site plan amendment application. The purpose of this application is to basically approve changes to a recently historically approved site plan back in 2024 and 2025. During the building permit process for the issuance of the certificate of compliance, village staff had noticed some changes from the approved site plan, basically creating this application for you today. Some of the changes include the relocation of the shed, the retaining wall being deleted from the site plan entirely, an additional dry well being installed in the rear yard, and I believe some extra utilities, as well as the buffer to vantage court from the principal structure on the property, that being the two-family residence. That's situated in the RO residential office district. There's not really much else to say about it. I mean, really the only thing is just the board has to determine if the plans reflecting these changes are suitable and if you have enough information to make a decision about it. Drainage overall, what would you have to say?
This was a former vet's house.
Yes.
So is this the plan that we approved, or is this the model?
This is the site plan amendment that you're looking at, the bubbles.
How does it compare to what we approved?
So there are bubbles on the plan. I mean, this is the approved one here. You can see the stamp in the bottom right. The little kind of L in the northern or bottom right of the thing, right where the cursor is, that's the old retaining wall.
Right.
The shed in the back, I think, is shown on that plan.
It's getting removed.
I can't really see. Frame
Oh,
shed
it
to be
says to
removed. The buffering between the vantage court and the property was slightly different than what was described on the
Parker,
original
can you
plan.
just speak up a little bit? I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay. The buffering between vantage court and the property changed between the two plans. If you go back to the other plan, you'll see all the additions are bubbled, making it easy to see where the differences lie. See on the left side there is the vegetation, and the somewhat middle behind the house is the dry well. Just a little bit, I guess it would be northwest from the dry well is where the shed would be relocated. The northeast of the driveway or the bottom right from this angle would be the retaining wall that's gone. But besides that, those are where the changes lie.
Yeah, I took a look at the site. The elimination of the retaining wall wasn't needed. I mean, the retaining wall, the area was regraded, so the retaining wall was not needed. Everything else, as shown, seemed appropriate. They added a yard drain in the rear. I couldn't tell, I mean, it's absolutely sufficient for what they need. The only concern I had, and I couldn't tell from the plans, was if you had some kind of major storm, that leaching pool fills up, where would the water, you could see a little bit of a low point in the rear. At what point and where does that stormwater overflow?
The natural topography is from north to south, and
Right.
and
So it would go towards the road?
yeah, it would. We really didn't change much. We actually denoted the drain, anything that we actually affected on our plan, on the original plan. But in no particular order, when we were grading, we noted that because there was a stage back here, and so there was a natural kind of depression. And so we just thought it would be prudent just to put an initial dry well. It's voluntary.
Right.
But the site is basically all the stormwater is being managed, so all the impervious area as well as the roof. So we have that. That was part of the approved site plan. So this is supplemental. We just thought it was prudent. Just furthermore, we had the agency or the owner actually had numerous discussions with the development up the road, and we added the landscaping at a cost, again, just to appease and to make it neighborly relations, so to speak. So at a far more than what we anticipated originally, but that's being a good news.
Those units have basements?
No, the slab is grade.
And is the first floor, how much higher is the first floor than that drainage structure?
It's about 1.5 foot. Yes. So we actually, which that was one of the comments was that we didn't include the topo elevations on the topo or the rim elevation for the dry well, and actually in reality.
Can you please use the microphone? I'm sorry. And can I also get your name, please?
I'm sorry, John Pierre Lardu from Fusion Architecture.
Thank you.
And when we submitted the final survey, you could see that the topography is all basically similar, so we actually transposed that, and you can see the rim elevation or the top of the casting. We have that here.
Okay, is that?
It wasn't shown on the site plan, but we didn't think we had to do that because we actually submitted like literally the final survey that has everything. So that's how everything was identified, and then we basically backed into it.
All right, I didn't have that information.
Yeah, you could have this here, but basically all the
cool.
topos, and you, as I mentioned, you mentioned, there wasn't really any need once we actually did the clearing. The topography didn't really require a retaining wall at the, I guess it would be the southeast corner. It just didn't need it. Right.
Yep.
So I mean, and you've been to the site. It's really, turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Can you go to the other?
Sure. Which this one?
What is this?
Oh,
This wasn't on the original.
What we did was, just so that we covered all our bases, we indicated any change to the utilities.
Oh.
It was really just that. So I didn't want to come here and say, well, you relocated the water meter here, and that's what we did right there. So the water meter valves and everything was denoted. So I figured that would just, be totally transparent.
And then the shed, did you note that it's actually where, when you saw it, was it?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't even look at the shed.
Oh,
I
okay.
just looked at it.
We far exceed the minimum.
I just want to make sure it's actually there.
Oh, it's there.
Where you say it is.
It is.
That's what I.
Again, the final survey. The final survey is here.
Oh, okay. This is it.
So basically, that is it. That's exactly where it is.
I can confirm that's where it is as well, because that was the
Okay.
stat number.
That's-
So-
That would be the only, because we can show where we want.
No,
Okay.
but I understand the concern about the proximity to the setback, but we are, to the property line, but we're good.
And if a surveyor stamped the survey as an as-built, it's,
Technically.
he'd
And how
locate
did
it.
you, the shed is that flat enough that the shed doesn't need any
It's basically.
footings or any?
No, it's basically, it's on lumber ties, and it basically, they just basically leveled it and then it's there, so it's just, it's exactly, that's it, it's just a storage shed.
So for site plan amendment approval, we just need copies, right? Stamped copies of the site plan amended site plan? Yeah.
I thought we submitted that.
Oh, did you?
That's what this is.
Okay, but, oh, you got the stamps on?
Oh, that stamp, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, and I don't know, how many copies do we normally get? Or
Well,
is this-
it'll be on the draft resolution.
Okay.
When we draft the resolution, we'll tell you how many we need.
Okay.
Okay, so we should draft up a resolution
Yes.
for the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll make sure this gets on the agenda for the next meeting.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Any other questions?
All right, thank you very much.
Next is 27 Pilgrim Drive.
I did, yes.
Scroll down a little bit.
Yep. Keep going. Keep going. Yes, okay, good. Hello, Chairman and the board, it's Moore. The applicant seeks approval for a site development plan situated for the parcel of 21 Pilgrim Drive. And they are seeking approval for the construction of a two-tier retaining wall fronting Pilgrim Drive. I'm trying to remember the height of the wall. Was it 4'8" on the first section closest to the road, and then it goes up, and then it's flat with a swale proposed to be vegetated, and then it's 5'8", and then behind that it's also going to have a swale as well. I think a swale of 2 feet. Oh, maybe I think the distance between the walls is 10 feet or 8.6. Okay.
Well, 10 feet to the front of the wall.
Yes.
Both walls are over 4 feet high.
Yes. And this would be a type 1 under secra, as it's, I think, 10, what is it? I guess I can just read my report. 10 feet 4 inches along a single slope. So require a type 1, and then declaration of assumption of lead agency. After secra, this would require referral to the zoning board, as it is 0 feet from the front and side property lines. As an accessory structure, it must be 5 feet, lest a variance be required. Currently, there is.
Currently, the neighbors both have retaining walls which are along that property line.
Same thing.
Very similar in
yeah.
nature, yes.
Yeah. One is the one to the,
I guess it's the north.
yeah, or if you're looking at the houses to the left, that's looks like a 4-foot wall right along the curb line, and then the folks to the other side, like that's the one.
So there's the existing retaining wall that's on site, the wooden one. A little further down the way there, you can see the start of the slope going up towards the house. Go to the next photo. So that's a photo taken from the top of the slope looking down towards the street. So that would be the top of the wall where the swell will be located.
So is the proposed lower retaining wall in the same position as the existing railroad tie wall?
So the existing one, I believe, is a little bit into the village right away, and this one would be put onto the property line, so it wouldn't be in the village right away. So this is just a closer look at the slope. I believe it was said to be that these were newer plantings, and there were some slightly sparsely vegetated areas of the slope itself.
Yeah.
Another look down the slope as well. Keep going. Just looking at the yard itself. Keep going. All right, so as you can see there, there's the slope. There's some patches, as you can see, and then the installed plantings. So what would you say about like existing drainage patterns versus what's proposed? You think would be?
Well, this will eliminate the design should eliminate in most standard size storms, any water coming from the applicant's property to the roadway.
So I believe that this plan was modified to accommodate for a 3-inch rainfall as required.
Yes, correct.
So.
And you can see that, I believe, I can't see from here, but those are the 2 leaching pools that the applicant is recommending, so that between those leaching pools and the swale in the, on the lower wall, I believe you'll have sufficient capacity to handle any type of runoff, with the exception of those mega storms we have every other year. But,
and a construction like this is not uncommon in the neighborhood, as the neighboring properties have very similar tiered structures like this one.
Yeah, I believe the one to the left looking at it is a masonry structure. The other one looking to the right, that's an older
similar to the existing currently on property.
Correct.
Since it's being built right on the property line, is there vegetation or trees on the property to the right?
Yes, there's a gap, actually. If you look in the lower right corner, you can see there's a little wall. Keep going, right there.
That corner?
Yeah, but that's not on the applicant's property, that's his neighbor's.
It's like that slant is the property line,
Right,
where the red
the red
is.
line is the property line.
Yeah, I guess,
So-
for a wall like this, is it going to disturb any of their trees or anything when it's?
No, I don't think that, I think there's a gap there that they have some room to work. I mean, they'll have to be careful, obviously, but if you look where the arrow is now, that is that tree just to the north of it. They should be able to minimize any disturbance in putting in the wall when they're building the wall. So it should, unless they're completely careless, and then you've got neighbor issues. But I think they can build it. It's a segmented wall. Most of that area can be built, I think, by hand, and minimize anything that would happen to the neighboring property.
Protecting the street, are there measures to protect the street and everything while you're under construction? You're right there.
I mean, the best you could really do is put down some like hay bales or something, because you really can't put down, you really couldn't do, you have to do it when you leave, because you really can't put a silt fence, because that's where the machines would have to be. So
Sure.
yeah, we could put some hay bales down, we could dry at night.
I mean, for washout, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
The existing plantings, are they all get, they got anything salvaged, or you wipe out everything that's there and replant?
Yeah, I mean, I might try and put something in the backyard if I can. It's kind of.
Oh, move it, you mean?
Yeah.
So a couple of nice specimens that might be worth trying to do.
There's definitely a crepe myrtle I would want to keep.
Yeah.
It looks like so I bought the house about 18 months ago, And the original owners tried planting that, I guess, right before they sold it. What's there now, and it's hanging on for dear life. So if we could salvage it, we definitely will. But I figured for what's here now, really the intention of putting these newer plantings is the ones that are closer to the upper tier are all laurels, so they'll all stay green during the winter. The idea is to minimize the effect of that second tier.
I like the fact you're using a lot of natives.
Yeah.
That's good. Good for pollinators, a lot of good.
I guess I'm happy with the plans, I thought.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's anything that the board feels should be required prior to secret review.
Does secret review go before it goes to the zoning board?
It must be completed before it's referred.
Okay.
Have you had any washout issues since you've been there? 18 months in the big rain?
No, nothing. I mean, you see the slope is definitely going a little bit, but nothing significant yet.
Any further questions from anyone?
Oh, somebody has a question.
I have a question. Well, I just wanted to ask, it might be on the plans already, but in terms of like staging the materials and everything, are you able to accommodate that on site? Or, because that's a big, not just with you, it's a lot of homeowners that have that problem. And,
So what we would do, these are they're big block gravity retaining walls that so I actually sell them too. So I'm kind of like everything the applicant, people buying the material, selling the material. We would have the truck pull up, and then they just take it right off the truck and put them right into place. So, because each of these blocks are about, like if you go to the, I don't know, maybe page 5, it might be, or, yeah, so you can kind of see, so each one of these blocks are 16 inches tall, 4 feet wide, and the top ones are 24 inches deep, the bottom ones are 39 inches deep. So about 1,500 pounds a piece. So these things won't go anywhere. They'll outlive So
I assume during demolition, you're gonna have some kind of equipment with a crane or something that'll dump the material from slope into a truck?
Yep.
Or and then
exactly. Yeah, you get a big excavator, clears it out, and then you put the pad down and start putting them on. Ideally, you should have it done 2 days. Because it's like Legos, they go
once you're at the bottom and
it goes quick.
yeah, so my biggest thing is we'll probably just refer it to DPW just so they're like aware of it, because in the right of way, technically they have authority over the village right of way. It's gonna probably stay there overnight, you think, the truck, or?
No, it'd be there for, each truck is, I think it's 2 loads of material. Each truck will probably be there for an hour and a half.
Okay.
While they
it's
offload
not-
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal then. All right. I'm just trying to keep you safe because we don't want code.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
So then, do we declare lead agency?
Yes, the intent to serve as a agency. Yeah.
Okay.
Do the coordinating. That's my biggest.
So, everybody okay with declaring lead agency? So I'll make a motion for the intent to declare lead agency.
Yes.
Second?
All in favor?
I
I thought
he was too.
Pardon me. I didn't do there. I know you don't. Yes, I'll second.
All in favor?
That was great.
Oh, you threw me off.
Yeah, Ray never does it. Okay, cool.
All set?
Yeah, we're all set.
This too, my car.
Oh, I'll see you.
No, I was on the planning board many years ago.
Mike is.
Yes,
Was
I
that
did.
you or-
Yeah, I was
On the planning board, that we might be.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's a type 1 action.
Right.
Work with them.
Just one more thing, we just need to accept the FEAF and then obviously declare, you know.
Oh, Jensen.
that
That should be
it
fine.
constitutes that type 1 action.
Sorry.
On the record at least.
Wait for this old.
Do you like?
Office I was working in,
Yeah.
came in and said,
Okay.
Just one more thing, not to go on. Better Parker says it, if you don't mind.
It's just to formally accept the FEAF as submitted and then.
And declare the
Type 1 action.
Okay. So I'll make a recommendation to accept the FEA as recommended and declare this a type 1 action.
So, I'm sorry, I know it's all procedural stuff. So
Yeah, it's okay.
it's basically just say, yeah, the board finds it's a type 1 action pursuant to secret. So you're accepting the FEAF part 1
Right,
as submitted
okay.
by the applicant, and then once that's accepted, you declare the intent to leave agency status. So I don't know if it's 2 separate motions in one. I don't know if we're okay.
I'll type it the way I want.
Okay.
We're okay. Yeah, we're okay.
We're okay.
Accept everything, right?
We'll clean it.
We'll clean it close.
I'm new to this stuff.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's not you.
That's okay.
I should have jumped through.
It's all right.
Okay.
We'll still screwed by the time she's done.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy
I thought it was Sun too. I know the Suns.
Oh, wait,
Is he the grandson?
He's on,
He's a grandson.
He's a grandson, I didn't know if he was a great nephew.
Allen Drive.
We're old.
All right, we ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay, overlook.
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, never mind. I skipped.
Something over
I had it. You're right. Yeah.
We
I
skipped the
skipped. Oh,
overlook?
I thought I skipped it. Oh, right.
Overlook.
That's funny. I didn't know that you didn't know that.
Should have told you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, that's-
Yes.
Fred, they went back, didn't you?
We could arrange for around time.
Northwell supporting you. Sorry.
But the largest player in the village?
Yeah.
So I think we, submitted a response to all the comments and so on. And if there's any remaining questions, ask everyone here, who I'm sure could try to answer them. And, we of course would like to move towards getting a resolution now that it's closed to potentially,
Please use the mic, I'm sorry.
to potentially move to the official decision.
Okay.
When was the latest submission? Do we review or we have time?
So I've gone, I don't have a staff report, but I have gone through it.
Okay.
So I can let you, I'm sorry to do this verbally, but we can, yeah, so I basically reviewed the applicant's submission based on what was requested of last time. We found that mostly everything was addressed, right? We had questions about the architectural plans demonstrating compliance with the buildings along Main Street, right? In terms of fenestration requirements, the stepping of the buildings, for the ground floor, any upper stories. They have since submitted that, so we found that to be acceptable. There was questions regarding, I'm trying to think.
I can do a summary.
If you want it, yeah, if you want it, so.
Okay.
So yeah, we received a comment letter from Hayduck. We resubmitted engineering plans along with the geotechnical report. The SWIP had previously been submitted back in early July, but then we addressed all those comments, resubmitted back on August 11th. And just to summarize, again, they requested a copy of the geotechnical report, which we provided. Revised architectural plans were submitted, which matched the parking calculations to the site plan. Limited disturbance call-outs were added as requested. There was a couple of catch basin rim elevations and drywall ring elevations that they wanted corrected. There was some minor grading comments on the retaining wall on the east side of the parking lot, which have been addressed. And I think that summarizes it. There were also 4 comments that we received from the village DPW, which we also provided responses to. There was a question about work zone right lane closure, which we responded to. All of that information is on the work zone traffic control plan that is going to be approved ultimately by the DPW. There were 2 comments regarding things within the right-of-way, like the imprinted concrete and the light poles. We had done some digging on that, and the DOT would require a use and occupancy permit for both of those things, which by law, section 46, would be the village that's required to maintain both of those items. So that was included in the response. And then
When was that response dated?
this is dated
It's all part of-
August 11th. It's all part of the same resubmission package. And then finally, there was a request to construct curb and sidewalk along North Country Road. And the applicant, we did revise the plans to add curb and sidewalk along only the portion that's in front of the subject property. There's a portion that's along the neighboring dentist that we don't want to take ownership of reconstructing, but everything along the subject property will be reconstructed.
Okay.
And that's essentially what was included in the last submission package.
Now, was it DPW that requested the sidewalk there?
Those were comments from DPW.
Okay, and these went back in August 11th. We haven't heard back on that.
So I
Responses.
spoke with Greg Munson for superintendent of highways, and basically I think their understanding of the maintenance agreement, the responses that you guys provided us regarding the maintenance, regarding the sidewalk. The sidewalk part of it, or that aspect that's not in front of them, that was the thing we put in front of the planning board for your guys' consideration, if that was something you wanted to require or not. But the maintenance part of it, we actually wanted to talk to, we sought council's advice on that. So I don't know, remember we talked about the agreement for the maintenance of the sidewalks along?
Right.
Yeah, and basically that the village is supposed to, whether or not it's the village, or the village could impose something with the applicant.
Sure, yeah, and typically, most jurisdictions.
I'm sorry, I don't want to call you out, but.
We could always give you a mic for that, and you could just answer them.
Most jurisdictions, there's a state law that says the towns or villages are responsible for the sidewalks, and then most towns and villages pass that responsibility along to the property owners that front on the highways. And I believe we do that here in the village.
To shovel? You were talking about?
Clear,
Clear.
So,
maintenance.
in terms of repairing, the only thing we have is 215.8, I think it is, and it talks about if any unnecessary damage occurred, the superintendent of highways has the authority to request someone to repair the sidewalk only along their portion of the property. That's in the village code. I don't know if we pulled it up. Maybe it's 215.8, and that was the one thing he wanted us to consider. But
You have a comment from
I
yes.
I do, and I don't want to contradict anybody, and I don't think I'm going. So, I can take it. Keep me on a short leash. We looked into the New York highway law, specifically section 46, and it indicates generally that towns or incorporated villages, in this case incorporated villages, are responsible for maintenance and upkeep of things like sidewalk. When we talk about snow removal and sweeping and things like that, I think that's a different issue. What we're referring to is, replacement of cracked sidewalk. And I'm not aware that the village has any such encumbrance on other properties in the village to replace broken sidewalk. And so I think what we would wind up with is a very odd situation of one property owner who has to, fix cracks in the sidewalk of public infrastructure. He would have to go to DOT to get a permit to even think about doing that.
Is there something about, you mentioned Is there something about this sidewalk that's unique?
The only thing unique about it is there's a section, and it's not even unique because it's in other parts of the village. We did it in front of 1 North without such an encumbrance on the property owner. There's a strip that's pressed to look like brick and it's colored red. But it's concrete and it should last decades, like the rest of the sidewalk. Okay.
Dan, is there a sidewalk on to the east of the dental office running to Oakland?
Yeah, over here you be talking?
Yeah, there is. So we're just gonna not in front of this sidewalk?
So it's the portion in front of the dentist office that's not
You want to
gonna
turn
be.
around, right? 180? You still got to the east there.
So there's sidewalk.
Across the-
What section is missing sidewalk, or would be missing?
In front of purely in front of this office here, because that's a separate property owner.
But he has
Well,
a.
there's a sidewalk.
It's not missing, I'm sorry, it's just not gonna be redone.
reconstructed.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I took a peek at it today before I came to the village. And it's not in bad shape. It's all there. It's not broken up. You know, there's a little disjointedness between panels.
What's the width, do you know?
It's 4 feet. So for the length of it, the 4 feet is adequate.
So in terms of.
It's not screaming out for replacement at this point.
The trees that are against the building, that belongs to the dentist, or is that?
That's the dentist's office, the little blue and white building, right?
Right, okay, so when the building on the right-hand side is taken down, will those trees be in danger, or they will remain healthy?
I believe that's on the dentist property.
Okay. That's where the buildings, yeah. The building's going over there. The church is to the left.
To the east,
Yeah,
That's what.
and that's where the parking lot will be.
Yep.
So that's really surprisingly it from us. We reviewed the plans.
So let's
Sorry.
just reiterate, that was a DPW comment to replace that sign?
Yes, that was from DPW.
I have a question. We've had a number of opportunities to be in front of you, or for you to be in front of us, and I'm sure that I at least missed at least one of them. Have we talked at all about the affordable housing component of this development?
During hearings particularly, not that I know of.
Can you speak to that?
Well, they're going to pursue IDA funding, in fact, the pilot program. And, I mean, without it, this project basically is not going to be built. And that requires 20% affordable for 10 to 15 years, which is, double the percentage that anything in the state requirements would have. So if this building gets built, it's going to have, as a result of the IDA funding, 20% affordable for the 10 to 15 year time period required by the IDA.
Well, you're connecting with public sewers also. Isn't there been an obligation under Suffolk County Sewer Agency as well?
Yeah. You want to speak to that?
So Angelo and I went to a hearing Tuesday in regard to the 20 units that are being built outside the sewer district. In other words, the dentist, he's outside the sewer district, and we're going behind him. And so we went before a hearing, and we have to provide three affordable units for the 20 units for a 25-year period, they told us. We agreed to that. And they approved us with a conceptual plan. And we have to go back because we could not fulfill their obligations in terms of an application until we had that approved. Now we have to submit the application for approval, and they get a second bite at the apple, and they tell us this is what we have to do. So, and they have to be specific, they can't be just affordable. Has to be one for veterans,
This is
one
what
for
I'm looking at.
paraplegic, one for disabled person.
A sliding
And it-
scale of affordability, or is it 80%?
They said, they told us the AMI will be what the IDA tells us the AMI will be. That's what they told us.
Most likely.
So it's 3 units, and they did approve us outside the sewer district for the 20 units.
And what about the other units?
The other
Those are all
units,
in
no.
district.
They're
Those
in
are all
district.
in district.
Nothing,
So this,
Nothing?
no.
So that's just IDA?
It's.
IDA, yes.
Yeah, that's 20%.
Yes, if we go to IDA, I spoke to Fred Duan before I went to the sewer district, because I knew they were gonna ask me, and Fred said to tell them, we will provide you with a 10 to 15-year program, pilot program, which will require 10% workforce and 10% affordable, for 10 to 15 years.
What is New York State law? Isn't it
It's
10%?
10%.
And
I'm not
it's
sure about the length.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, it might be. I thought it was different. I could be wrong.
Oh, the Long Island?
No, it's
No,
state.
the state workforce.
The village was never adopted that, though, right?
Well, it's law.
Yeah, it's state law. It's- Yeah, yeah,
It's no exclusion.
Evidently they don't.
yeah. Should have, but we just
Like
cover
you
it by
get-
the.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is the percentage is going to be, this really isn't going to be built without the IDA funding. So the percentage is going to be double what the state would require.
But only
I think
for
it-
5 years.
10 to 15.
10 to 15.
Minimum.
And the sewer district is longer.
The sewer district.
Sewer district's, the 3 in the sewer district will be
The
25.
sewer district is 25 years, and they told us that was the state law.
So, and then those three that are not in the sewer district, are they part of the 20%?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
until the 10, 15 years is up, and then you gotta continue for the
For
25
those
years.
3 years.
For those 3 years.
Like,
For the three,
not-
yes.
Not all, I mean, there are projects built on Long Island without an IDA, so it's not an absolute.
Well, I'm just relaying what my clients told me, and they seem, saying it at a public meeting, that they can't and won't be building this project without the IDA funding. I mean, they can tell you themselves.
Is that true?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Very simple.
So it just really isn't gonna get built without it, so.
That
I
goes to
think
the
it should be reflected in the resolution, the affordable housing component. So we just need to work on getting something together on that.
I mean, if the resolution's gonna say that it must be done in accordance with these IDA guidelines, I think they're satisfied with that.
And the sewer district.
And the sewer district.
And New York State law.
Well,
You can say
New York State may have longer terms, even though it's a smaller percentage, so I think they prefer to go with what they envisioned when they really did the economics on the whole project, which is how it's been done in the past, which is the 20% with the IDA guidelines and timeframes. I mean,
The state, I believe, is 10%.
10%, correct.
10%.
We're not quite sure how long, I believe, or how long is the requirement.
That,
I'm not sure.
that-
I have to check that.
Well, so let me ask you this. How many units is 20%?
With the IDA,
Yeah.
it would be 15 units.
Okay. And then 3 of those 15 will be 20 to 25 years.
25 years, not 20, 25 years.
So 15. So then it would just be another unit that would have to go longer if we went by the
I'm
state.
talking about the other 12 units, yes.
Yeah.
If it was 15.
If you had, yeah, another unit would have to go long to the 25 years.
Right, to follow the state guidelines of 10%.
Right.
Did I do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, so are you asking him to do the extra unit? Or
No, I
the-
just, I just think we should have the affordable housing component spelled out in the resolution. Whatever is law Is it 10%?
It's, I mean, what you could put down is a minimum of 10%.
Minimum of 10%.
And they're actually gonna be supplying more because.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
not in
fair.
perpetuity.
I don't think
Well, we have to check.
We should check the law.
Apparently even the state projects with the state housing, housing community renewal, it's not in perpetuity, it's usually
It might not be.
30 years, it's usually 30 years or, yeah. That's, from my experience, I've had this issue.
See, we're doing the double density from the state, so then the year should be cut in half, right?
Nice try, Mike.
Double density of state requirements, so the length of time should be cut.
Can we not write a condition that says if, assuming project is built with IDA funds, blah, 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 assume, if it's not, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
If it is, blah, 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 if it's not, I think that's.
I say, really, it's a minimum of 10%.
I think that would be perfect, I think that would be perfectly satisfactory.
How has this not come up before with this IDA? Because nobody has brought this up. And said,
This
well,
just
the
came up
state-
with us Tuesday when we went to the
this
sewer
and
district.
We like this, but the state requires.
You should,
Oh, yeah, you did.
well, right, you should look, anything, the state requirements, any multifamily project over 5 units, you have to look at the 10% requirement.
Subdivisions, 5 or more, that have to have
It's
one.
the same thing with apartments, it's 5 or more.
And then some towns like Brookhaven will tell you if you take one lot
But
less.
they've
than the
never
den-
adopted it.
If you take one lot less than the density, then you don't have to do the affordable components.
Luke, what'd you do in
It's
Mount Sinai?
Difficult with
20%.
Gets difficult with health
IDA
department
or-
credits
No.
and
Right.
everything else.
But that's what you were, because you weren't in the
Sewer,
sewer.
not the sewer
There's a
district.
provision, but something to this stuff.
It was dense,
That's a difference.
Brookhaven's
No, no, no.
completely
Yeah,
different
yeah,
than Pennywood.
Well, they have their own code too.
They have their own code.
Yeah.
Oh, when it's not incorporated,
No,
then
they
it's
just,
a different, okay.
no, they just have their own.
So you see,
Like
in
affordable
Canada,
housing code, that's,
So I think that's a good compromise we just came up with.
I agree.
And the IDA is a breakdown between affordable and workforce.
Ends up working out basically the
Evidently,
same.
10% workforce, 10%.
It's 10 and 10.
affordable.
And then, what's the difference, AMI, I mean,
They haven't determined that, because
80
they're fighting.
to 60 or?
Yeah, well, they're fighting amongst themselves right now. That's a big issue with them
No,
right
no.
now. So we don't have the answer.
I've read
for that.
the papers, but yeah, okay. Because it can go up to 120.
Right, that's a big issue with them right now.
Okay.
This is county idea, right?
No,
town.
Town,
Brookhaven?
Brookhaven.
Oh, yeah.
Brookhaven, IDA.
I hear you.
The county has their own issues with their,
Yeah, fighting.
The board is fighting.
Yes, I know.
So we don't know what we're getting. We don't know.
Do we have anything else?
I mean, I can draft a resolution, that's probably the next step for us. Based on the conditions in the record, and I will add something about subject to IDA, affordable housing, with
10% minimum.
10% minimum, and then.
Or unless we follow all the IDA rules.
Right, or you
Yeah.
follow the IDA rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fine.
And we'll verify it and just, state requirement, state requirement.
Yes. Yeah. I'll put the timeline.
If they have a time, I'm not sure.
And you can put it for the sewer district.
Right, and then there's the
Yeah.
additional time for 3 of the units.
Yeah, it's amazing how that's specific. So one is to be for veterans, one is.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Oh, really? It's that-
It's very specific.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
The IDA is not specific,
Right,
it's
that-
just workforce
that part, yeah,
employment.
those 3 units.
Got it, okay.
But they were very specific.
Dan, I'll get you the exact figures for that.
Thank you.
They're very specific about it, yeah.
County is.
Yeah.
That's why. It was originally 10%.
New, yeah.
I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, they made it very clear to us. They said, if you want the 20 apartments, this is what you
Yeah,
do.
right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
100 Thompson is the
I
applicant.
know.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have your agenda, but you also walked me through, place it was your office.
Thanks for the assist.
Way back in the day.
Thanks for the assistance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's. See you guys.
We want to make sure that that's.
Don't go away.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We'll look at it.
We're reviewing your draft.
Yes.
Clarification, because I saw it, received it today for the first time, and there were some things in the draft resolution that were sort of a surprise to me, and I was just hoping I could get clarification of whether these are all definitely in this resolution or not.
This gentleman can review the draft.
Should we go through it or?
Yes. We will go through it.
Okay. So I'll give you a high level summary of it. But so most of the way this has been set up is to reflect the record before. It talks about the initial notice when the application was first submitted to us, all the details about what the code regulations, right, the action types of it, secret, and then the conditions of approval. So the conditions of approval, just to start with that very first one, because I know you had a question about the request for the formal plan. That's based on the village code. The village, in order for this, when this planning board approves a project, they have a plan to approve and sign. So they do need a formal site development plan submitted that has to have the board put chairman's signature on it. So that's required of any application before this board.
So sorry, so the signature that's referred to when it says stamped and signed?
Yes.
He's referring to your stamp. It's not that we need an architect's drawing that's stamped and signed?
Well, typically it's both. Yeah, you would need an architect or an engineer or.
The architect or engineer prepares it.
What we submitted with our site plan amendment, it was not stamped and signed by the architect. It was a design, and I'm not even sure how to refer to it. The person who designed it is one of our trustees. He's on the architectural review board, but he hasn't stamped and signed it. I don't believe he has a stamp. That's.
He's a registered.
Yes.
He's an RA. Yeah, he's an RA. Andrew. Yeah, he's an RA. So he can license and stamp it.
Yeah, is he opposed to doing that for
Not at
some
all.
reason?
No,
Okay.
but when I. Okay, great.
Yeah, the only thing is, we just have to reflect, so remember this plan, we had the removal of the patio?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so as long as the finalized plan just has to reflect those changes too.
Absolutely.
So that's all that condition's asking for.
Not a problem, because he did the initial drawings, he's happy to do the changes. I actually thought I'd have them in hand already. He's been away.
You haven't talked
Okay.
about this, about stamping.
No, I did, and his answer was different, but so I will follow up with him, and then it shouldn't be a problem, because it sounds like you all know different, but that was not the conversation I originally had with him. Because the initial ask, when I came the first time, seemed to require that we submit plans that were stamped, and that wasn't something, my understanding with him was that that wasn't something he could do. We were going to have to go to a landscape architect and have new, so I will get clarification on my end then. So.
The plan is, their plans have to be stamped, or can they be on his official plans? And I'm asking because I know, having gone through something similar to this, the only plans that are required by state law to be signed, at least by an engineer, are structural. Anything else could be referred to, he's got his name. Title block on it. So then he's technically responsible for it, but he's not necessarily required to stamp it. So I don't know if this
And that might have been what his and I conversation was about, because he was like, there's no building, there's no structural, there's no anything, it's walkways and plants. And
Is it brought up to a higher level if it's a public
Not that I've seen it.
thing? Okay, that's.
But, and it shouldn't be a big deal for him just to
If
stamp
you're
it.
doing landscape architecture with hardscaping and walls and things that require structure
Right.
and a licensed professional to design, yes. But
Right.
these are walkways, I don't know.
I think there is some hard.
There is some wall to it, yeah. There's some.
Yeah, and it's being completed by a firm. It's not like I'm out there digging it, which, I mean, it's being completed by a firm. We went through an RFP process. but they didn't draw the plans. Their landscape architect didn't draw the plans. We gave them a design and selected the winning organization to do the work based on their response to our plan. So they didn't complete landscape drawings themselves that are stamped by their architect. So I
don't think the walls involved were
There's no
anything
walls.
structural. Yeah, and so it should be a
It's
slammed up
walkway.
for Andrew to
It's,
sign it.
but it's masonry walkway, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a little seating area too, that's a little raised.
Right,
brick.
but that's still not, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing here that can preclude him from signing it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of straightforward, but I mean, maybe check and just to see, does it have to be law? I mean, the code says stamped.
Pretty sure, but I can pull it over.
And there was also a reference to, it said, prior to the issuance of a building permit. So are we applying for a building permit for this? Point 4 was,
Already started the work.
right.
Was already kind of allowed to proceed, that's.
Right, allowed to proceed.
And number 5 was prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. And I wasn't aware that we needed a certificate of occupancy.
Probably a certificate of compliance, I should say.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's a separate type of.
and then there was a point about I just also want a clarification because it says, Port Jefferson Free Library Building shall not be constructed to address the board's concerns. I think there's a couple ways to read it. This is where I'm obviously a librarian geek, and I was just like, it either means building shall be constructed to address the board's concerns, or it shall not be constructed. Number 6.
The way, yeah.
I
hold
just
on.
wanted-
It was supposed to, I was trying to reference the patio,
Right.
basically, that was removed.
Right,
from the
which I
plans.
get, and I totally get, but
Apologize
I was
for
also
my
like,
writing.
wait a minute.
Wait, how do you want it to say? You want it to say?
I want it to be,
Do we need a comma after
Probably,
constructed? Shall not be constructed, comma, to
Right.
address the
Oh,
board's.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
grammar
Okay.
kills, sorry.
Right.
And then my other question was, and this is not a big deal, because obviously we maintain several different businesses to help us maintain the property, but there was the period of all proposed plantings will be guaranteed for a period of 3 years from installation. I was just as surprised when I read it today, and I'm like, say what now?
That's standard, that's standard for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we maintain it and out every day.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you meant like the specific, like that we need to get a warranty from the installer
No,
and
no,
purchase
no.
it. Like that.
You have bush dyes, you have.
Absolutely.
It just, so, hold on, one second.
That should be people planting trees and bushes and stuff.
It just says, it does say stamped in the village code. It's gotta be stamped.
So
Andrew.
okay, let's just throw this out there. If we approve this and this is the final resolution, and Andrew for some reason cannot stamp the drawings, what happens?
They'll have to bring it to a different architect or.
Yeah. It's a code,
So-
it's in the village code, that's the hardest thing, so we would.
And it's for sure they have to do that. So
Yeah, it
regardless
says-
of waiting,
Not
we have to.
structural, even though,
So site development plan, I mean, I can read it, this is about the site
It's-
development plans, but, site development plan elements shall include those listed below, which are appropriate to the proposed development or use as indicated by the planning board, or it's, oh, that's the wrong thing, oh no. Or use as indicated by the planning board or its representatives in the, shall be, in the pre-submission conference, and shall be stamped and sealed by a licensed engineer or surveyor.
Well, is there a section there on landscaping?
Yes,
Okay, so is that a little bit different where it's just the designer's information? You know?
What number, where are you, what code?
250-52D, the very first paragraph. Because it goes by procedure. It always talks about pre-submissions first, but obviously we don't always do pre-submissions first. But then it goes for pre-submissions, then it goes necessary elements of site development plans, and that's where it mentions it has to be stamped by a licensed professional. It's 250-52D.
So because this is only landscaping, is this still a site development?
It's considered a site plan amendment because they had an approved site plan already, this is proposing changes to it. Usually the landscape is incorporated as part of that site plan, but any changes to pedestrian flows, it's 250-10E mentions that it has to go before site plan approval, so it is technically the board's purview as a site plan.
If you can't do it, get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
I just, as the person who'll have to go to my board of trustees and ask them for approximately many thousands of dollars for a plan, I just need to get clarification so I know what to ask for and what I need to do.
Andrew might even be able to point you in the right direction if he
Right.
won't. I can't see why he wouldn't sign this. I mean, but I'm an engineer, we sign anything for $1 a sign. $2.
I mean, I don't know if it was because he did it as in a volunteer capacity.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, as a board trustee, he can't charge, he can't work for the library, so that's my assumption is it's about as a volunteer capacity, but. Okay, all right, but does that mean then that we still, that there'll be an issuance of a building permit and a requirement of a certificate of occupancy?
Well, CO's certificate of compliance is definitely required. That's always, because that's,
Yeah, that's number 5.
That shows compliance with
Replace
this board's-
occupancy with compliance, correct?
yes, so that's replace occupancy with
That's- that's
compliance.
the thing.
Does that come from you guys?
Yes, that's my department.
Okay, so I don't need to go to another organization for that, it's something that comes from you.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
Building permit, I'll follow up. If it's not required, we can take it out of the resolution as long as the board's okay with me doing that. And then I just gotta follow the building inspector just to make sure. I'm pretty sure, I know people, so, but we'll check with the building inspector.
So there's a building inspector that will be coming out, do I need to connect with the building inspector, how do we?
Yeah, well, that's the question, right? If it's an active building permit, that's when you guys would work together on it. I just wanna follow up with her about that aspect. The building permit is actually required for this type of work. If it's not required, we'll take it out of the resolution.
Okay.
You'll just get a COC, and that'll be from planning staff. We'll go
Okay.
out and verify it. If not, we'll definitely be in contact, and we'll make sure she's right involved and everything going.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
I motion we accept the resolution as amended.
Can I
I'll
get
second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Probably go to Michael Schwarting. Would probably
That's
be-
exactly what I just
Oh,
said.
really? Yeah, I'm sure he would jump in to help.
Or Francis,
Yeah.
they both work. on
Yeah,
it.
they both
They
still
do.
work. Yeah. If not, we'll talk to Eric back there. He's up there. Michael Schwarting, and yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, I know.
Almost there.
Oh.
He's here.
We're not gonna go to midnight tonight.
Don't jinx this.
I shouldn't have said that.
Right.
It's very simple. The answer is yes. All approved. Who wants to make the motion?
I like that.
I leave it to you.
Give it to me, thank you. Okay, so, always you guys are ready?
We're ready.
Okay, well, I was gonna raise it. But, okay, cool. So yes, as requested by you guys during the last meeting, we prepared the draft resolution for the Baxter development. This includes a very long summary of the events, discussions, major decisions that were made by the board throughout the course of the review, and the several conditions that were agreed upon either at some of the meetings. Some of them were also added as typical planning board practices. This is something maybe we have the board review tonight, though, is the conditions, because I know there's some discussion about back and forth, there's been some editing made to it. So I don't know if the board, you guys would like to go through them each one by one, or if you've read them in advance, but, happy to fill in whatever. I know it's a lot of conditions, so.
I wanted to add one condition.
Okay.
Parker, do you have that picture? So I forgot the name of the development that was at Cappy's.
The Brookport.
Brookport. So, that this was one of those things that we approved that I regret approving because, it's opaque and when you walk by it, you can't tell that it's being used or open at all. So the idea.
What are you referring to? The lamppost?
I'm referring to the
So when-
fitness center. My bad. So the fitness
Sorry.
center. I figure everyone's in my head.
A lot of things
So, yeah.
designed there.
So what I would love to see is that percentage of the fronting Main Street that is for residential use only, whatever we're calling it. I would ask, and hopefully we can put it in the resolution, that it have transparent windows. The idea is to have it look inhabited, occupied.
Just wait, while you're talking, look Onward Publishing.
You need a microphone.
So.
Yeah.
the-
No, I
but-
agree.
But you
And
guys should
I-
also, in the village, when you make other
Yes.
approvals, look.
Yes.
That looks
I
worse than
agree.
the opaque.
100%.
So, but just to quickly, no problem.
Okay, yeah, because you
We'll
get
do it.
what
Yes.
I'm asking for.
No problem.
Right?
Yes.
So people feel safe walking along the street, that it feels, okay.
Done.
I won't believe
That could be 31, or is that out of order if it's 31?
The numbers have been changing on a regular basis.
Yes.
And names have been changed.
Mhm.
The affordable housing.
But are you, okay, so I'm all
Wait,
confused now.
the same thing. We didn't
You
know.
don't want a blockage on the window.
Correct.
So if they take blockage down, we're seeing people work out?
No, that was just an example of Brookport. I'm talking about the project that they're doing uptown.
Okay, so whatever's inside.
You could
will be
see,
visible
or
from
you
the
could see
outside.
plants, or,
And
you know,
for the
light.
Baxter project, the fitness center is not being proposed for the ground level, so it's more of the lobby area. So
Okay.
we'll make it clear, so
Okay.
no problem.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty, all right.
We did the fitness center because, it's a little privacy, people stretching in their fitness
Yeah.
gear, so that's why we did that. But understand, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, Lee, did you want to add in you mentioned affordable housing.
Yeah.
I know you sent a comment to me about that. We can add similar.
Same thing. Okay.
It's the same arrangement. The application doesn't start unless we get from the Brookhaven Town IDA the necessary pilot, recording tax, and sales and use tax. Project doesn't start if that doesn't happen, and I've also spoken with the housing department in the town to confirm the necessary percentages under the state. And believe it or not, the town has not adopted this town code to follow the state, nor has the village of
It's
Port.
more stringent, actually.
And nor, but the town attorney told me, we're going to work on it, it hasn't been done yet, that's as of 4 o'clock this afternoon. And the village hasn't adopted any part of its code to amend it. However, the applicant is prepared to comply if that's your request and a condition of the approval. And it's 20% affordable workforce. And we're going to be applying for perhaps 15 years.
Okay, you want to go through them quickly?
I would like to just bring up one point.
Yeah.
And I read through it, and I've discussed it with your council, and I've discussed it with Dan.
Yes.
The resolution, and the applicant doesn't have any major changes, no problem adding what Ms. Zimmerman has asked. But the question it becomes, when you look at item 12, it discusses the prior to any issuance of a demolition or building permit, whichever occurs first, the applicant shall obtain approval of the site plan amendment for the adjacent realty, the Hills or Texaco, whichever one name you want to use for it, formalizing the internal access, connection, curb cuts, etc. The site plan amendment for the rail has been submitted, has been here. It was filed going back to May 7th. The site plan for the amendment has to be approved simultaneously with this amendment because they're interconnected. Whatever's going to happen at the Baxter is interconnected with rail. So what I pointed out to Mr. Burke and Mr. Gross was both approvals for both site plans have to be adopted simultaneously. They're interrelated. They can't, I was told today, well, maybe what we'll do is we'll adopt the site plan for rail on September 10th, but approve the other one this evening. Can't happen that way because they're both, one requires the other. At our prior meeting, And that's why we submitted, and I have copies of our submission, which we gave in after our last meeting. And if you want to read it, I brought you copies so you can see what was requested and where you went. These are the items, and Angelo Leno here can review them with you. Here's one for you. And I think you got it.
This is for rail.
And on the next page is for the Baxter. The two, no, they're all, it's referenced, the applicant, both applicants are referenced in the top. The first page talks about the site plan for the Baxter. The second page talks about the revisions and the amendment that was requested by your board for rail. So it's been done. Both site plans are now interconnected as a result of this request, because if you recall, you asked that we provide a site plan amendment for rail. This is when we did it, and so the resolution doesn't reference, it talks about an approval for the Baxter, but doesn't mention the approval for rail simultaneously.
What I mentioned is it's typically a separate site plan amendment resolution because you're amending an existing site plan that already exists for the one project. It's now an amendment resolution. It's much shorter, it's obviously than this. I don't know, we originally contingent upon that being approved. We assumed it would happen very close to each other, and we just figured, you know, they still have to do some things prior to final site development plan approval. This is a conditional resolution. So the thought was, prior to a building permit, as long as they have approval for both projects, it shouldn't be an issue. That's why I put the condition in there. Like Mr. Russo said, though, we do have receipt of the Texaco project. They did respond to our comments. We just don't have a resolution prepared tonight. I don't know if the board wants to act in advance of that, but that's...
I suggested and discussed with Mr. Burke that what you could do is approve both this part relating to the Baxter, and you can also approve Rail's amended site plan simultaneously. And then I've been told you have retroactively done a resolution that you adopt at the next meeting, but they're both approved so that everybody knows this is exactly the plan that you've got before you.
What was going to be in the resolution for
Texaco. Pretty short, just talking about why, like recognition of why the site plan amendments needed. B, the same parking language that's in here is also going to be in that one because it's the same parking. You know, that it's a little bit different because that's where we noticed the C2R overlay district, and that's where maybe focus a little bit more on that part of it because that's like one of the biggest decision points of that project. I don't see including much else. The conditions, I mean, it'd probably be conditioned on the Baxter. They'll be conditioned on each other, which is kind of funny, but it's basically part of the Baxter resolution, which would probably be somewhere in that resolution, either in the whereas clauses or I don't know. That's something that we have to work. I had to work with Jim on, you know, going through that.
I'm more confused now.
It's confusing, I know. So, I mean,
I'd prefer to have both of them in front of us if we have to approve both of them
at the same time.
at the same time.
Well, I don't want to. Okay.
I was speaking
Yeah.
with Eric earlier today. I'm not that familiar with the rail realty, what the changes were, but the physical changes to rail realty are very minor, right?
It's minor. It's a curb cut.
Yeah.
That's why
You
it's
can have Angelo go through them, please.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you want to go ahead, yeah.
It's very minor. So the board is comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's very minor. It's you can see on the plan there. There's the curb cut, the connection drive aisle to the Baxter property from rail. There's a shift in the garbage enclosure, shifted north slightly. There's some minor curb work which we're obtaining an easement. There's some minor curb work for those 7 parking spaces, or 5 of those 7 parking spaces that protrude onto the rail property in order to get those parking spaces in. That's pretty much it.
And those are part of the easement areas that we approved. If you put the green up, you'll see all the easement areas.
But I also thought we were relieving some of the parking calculations, so we're basically eliminating the overlay, right? Like, essentially.
Yeah, you said because of recognition. Well, the board agreed because of recognition of the comprehensive, what the comprehensive plan
Right.
says about shared parking.
Right.
Yes, you are allowing a shared parking arrangement to not require the pileup. That would have been
Okay.
required because it's in the C2R.
Oh, so we're technically not relieving them of their parking. We're just allowing them to share.
Share it, yeah.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
That's a good distinction.
And as a result, then came the question that you wanted a parking agreement. and we drafted one agreement. You reviewed the agreement. You weren't satisfied with it. I have all of your comments here. We revised the agreement. We provided the revised agreement on August the 6th. I have copies for everybody if they would like them tonight. I know I've given them to Mr. Burke. So here's a copy of the revision that was provided to the village. And you all have a copy. And I've given a copy to Mr. Burke, and I asked him to provide a copy to Dan. And if you want to compare it to the comments, the comments that were given to us to revise it were these.
You don't have a red line, do you? This.
No, not tonight. I figured I'd give you the document with your comments. Those were your concerns that you articulated on July the 10th. And based on those, when we received them, we revised the agreement and pass that over. Now we have the finalized agreement.
So you incorporated all of these?
They were either incorporated after we discussed it with council or realized what was needed, what wasn't necessary.
So
if you,
they weren't really all incorporated.
We addressed the concerns and put the new agreement together because some of the suggestions was determined may not be needed, was not necessary. That's correct. Yes.
Right now, it's a condition of a CO, is how it's written in here.
Correct.
Agreement.
GP or CO?
CO I wrote in here, but, and it does say in a form acceptable to the attorney, is how it's currently written.
Correct.
But
I saw an internal memo that where you felt that a number of the changes were internal and did need to be addressed in that shared agreement. And my concern is, sorry, at a future point in time when these two properties are perhaps not owned by related entities, that's this shared parking agreement should live beyond that event, and that's why
and the language
these things that I brought up should be addressed.
The language in the agreement specifically addresses the concern that you indicated, and we put in language that said that this agreement cannot be amended without the consent of both parties. I went through and revised it so that it would address your
but
comments.
both parties are related, so that would be great if they were not related.
They're not always going to be related.
What's that?
They may not always be related.
Yeah,
That's what he
that's
said.
the point.
We're not disputing that, but the way the agreement is written now addresses the concern that you raised. So I would then, again, ask that the agreement be read because the agreement is something that's a condition for CO. It's not something.
Before we get into that, shouldn't this run with the land, with both land?
And it said that in the agreement. Yes, and it says it in the agreement. The agreement does say that.
Does it specify which parking stalls are shared?
Yes.
Okay.
It has an exhibit attached to the back
Of which
of
ones?
the agreement. Exhibit 1 is for grantor's property. Exhibit 2 is for grantee's property. We attached an agreement showing the respective site plans and the parking.
Is it-
I mean, you would, my suggestion would be, and you can, obviously you can have a discussion here, it can be a healthy discussion. But my thought is, if you want, it's right now, the way Dan has it proposed, it's subject to the CO that you're not gonna get a CO, which is a pretty heavy hammer, that they have to have a parking agreement. What I was suggesting, I can use the time, so we're not here till, you guys aren't here till 1 o'clock in the morning reviewing the parking agreement. I can keep conferring with Lee. Lee has raised some very good points, and we can have an agreement that's won't be agreed upon until Lee can be the point person. You guys can continue jurisdiction. If you approve this, Lee can be the point person. I'll work with Lee and Dan. Then the three of us can work together with the applicants to make sure that we have a parking agreement that the board is satisfied through, and Lee can be the liaison.
I
to
just
work
think
with me on
it should be more of a complete agreement that can live on beyond, when, if and when there's separate ownership. It's just a little too thin.
Yeah.
And I
No, that
don't
was the
see-
first agreement. This agreement is not the case. This agreement
I haven't had a
was.
chance to
Yeah,
read
I didn't realize there was a revised agreement, so I just saw
I'm
it
looking
today for the
to,
first
not
time.
like
so-
we're gonna
yeah.
make it difficult on you, but I think it just should be more complete. That's all.
We're running in circles. Read the revised agreement
I will.
and we're not gonna get anywhere since you guys haven't seen it yet, so.
Yeah, just the question is,
But-
if the
Yeah.
board is comfortable approving the application.
The concept.
Well,
Condition.
yeah, right. So, and I'm suggesting that, I will make sure that I'll keep Lee and this board in the loop, while we work on an agreement that everybody's satisfied with.
I'm
So-
okay with that.
Okay.
So how do we write that up?
We can just say.
It's the way you have it. It's already written. It's in there as a condition.
The only thing you can add is you can say in coordination with planning staff and
Listen, you don't
board
have to
members
put
or
everything-
something.
No, the way it's worded under number 19 is prior to the issuance of the CO, the applicant shall submit a final executed parking agreement in a form acceptable to village council establishing reciprocal shared use of the on-site parking areas serving the Baxter and the Hills and providing for the continued maintenance and repair of the shared parking facilities, and the agreement shall run with the land and be recorded both properties in the office of the county.
And I'll say tonight on the record that I will work with Lee, and we will not issue a CO until the Lee and through, this board through Lee is satisfied with the wording of the agreement.
Should we add, in a form acceptable to village council and planning staff?
That, it says village council, I just read it.
Planning staff? Doesn't say that.
You need the attorneys, and you're gonna put that it's acceptable to him.
I don't like this.
If you remember, you told me how we're all
I want to
overworked.
say, are you,
Yes, we are.
his special counsel?
He's special counsel.
He's, or special, it's not really village counsel.
Oh, special counsel to the
Just,
planning.
it should be changed a little bit, special person.
Whatever you want.
It's Jim Burke.
Jim Burke. I'm so sorry, Jim Burke. Yeah, the resolution.
They get it, our-
Jim Burke. Jim Burke, Lee
It's
Ross.
not village counsel.
I don't think
Special
so.
counsel.
Special
Planning
counsel.
board.
Well, then the whole
Council
resolution's
to the-
gotta be
to the
fixed.
Just put in he who in.
Land use council.
I'll change that.
So you're okay with that?
Yes, just, yeah, we'll work through it.
Yeah.
So we got the addition of the non-opaque glass and the affordable housing as similar to overall. And then you want to go through all of them quickly?
Yeah, I guess we'll just go to the ones that aren't standard, I guess.
There you go.
And,
That's makes sense.
yeah, so I think the first page is all fine, it's all standard stuff. Okay, the one thing we did add, this was from, I think it was your recommendation regarding the major public amenity.
Yes.
If it turns out, there's the way it's, the idea of it, so I don't know if I wrote it correctly, but
What
it's.
number are we at?
Number 2, this is the second condition, that if the public amenity has a value that ends up being less than the 318,500, that either an additional major public amenity or the contribution equating the difference will be provided. That's the one thing I know we want, just to guarantee that that amount's provided.
And the applicant has no problem with that.
Okay, that's good. Construction cost estimate we talked about. The rest of it's all pretty standard. Let me just jump down a little bit. Okay, number 10. This is a new one from the building inspector regarding the New York State Energy Code. So, just to clarify it a little bit, apparently there's going to be a separate building permit required just specifically for the energy, the renewable energy installation of the building to comply with the New York State Energy Code.
Right, that
So-
was discussed here
Yes.
with you when you made that
It's a
presentation.
whole
And
separate?
yes, and what
It's
was
a separate
discussed
permit, yeah.
was Eric Nicosia told you we're going to comply with that section of the state law that was presented to you 3 meetings ago. I want to say it
No,
was
but
January or February.
He's saying it's a whole separate permit. It's not part of the regular building permit. That's what I'm hearing, just so that we're
We'll take
clear.
more of an energy permit mechanical, I'm not sure, because it's new to us too, so I'm not sure the specifics.
I don't
Which
think-
is, very unusual, so.
And the way it's being
It would be
referenced
part of
is,
one building permit.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I can't get a building permit if I don't meet the code, so it's kind of a pointless point.
Okay.
it's part of the plans that are being submitted as part of the building permit application.
But
So
even-
you've
but even-
included it in here saying,
Yeah.
as you recall, they brought it up to your attention that going forward, for new structures, you need to look at that. Previously, Eric looked at it and was trying to tell you we might be able to get out of it, and then he came to the next meeting and said, I have to comply with that, it's gonna have to be designed as part of
Right.
the plan.
But it might be a whole separate permit.
Yes,
So it
potentially.
needs, are you saying it has to be, that whole separate permit has to be obtained before they get a building permit?
No, it's,
No.
well, they're simultaneous, right? It's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's just maybe a separate permit issuance just for the removal.
It's a mandatory part of the building code, so you would need it to get a building permit no matter what. You
Yeah.
need a separate one
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the way it's worded in the resolution is as prior to the issuance of a building permit, applicants shall submit permit plans, supporting documentation showing
Yeah.
compliance.
I think that's all he was trying to show you,
I'm not
is
worried.
that
I'm
it
sorry.
might
We
be
have no
separate.
problem with it.
Okay.
It's just new. That's the only reason I mentioned
Yeah.
it. It's a new condition, so we're like, it's just, it's a new code. We did talk about the construction staging, phasing, and demolition plan. That was kind of agreed to at the last meeting, that would be a condition of approval showing for this building and also just in coordination with the surrounding developments, because obviously there's gonna be a lot going on uptown, so that's condition 11. So then there's 12, how the board wants to proceed regarding Texaco. I don't know if we want to, I can hold off on that for now, just go through the rest of the conditions, but that's the question. We have to do a separate resolution for it. But again, we made it prior to a building permit. I don't know if the board wants to change it to something else, remove it, or they are conditioned on each other. So typical practice would be somehow to incorporate them together.
Makes sense. Why don't you put it simultaneous to,
Hmm?
rather than prior to,
Okay.
say simultaneous?
Simultaneous to building permit or.
Addition to?
Unless we remove it, but if we remove it,
No, it's just.
No,
or you just say the applicant shall, obtain approval for the related site plan. Just leave it, not prior to anything, just it should be a condition that has to be complied with.
or you can say the applicant shall be issued simultaneous approval for that. And then you can have the resolution at the next meeting that articulates what exactly you want to put in, because you certainly don't need all of the whereases that you elocuted here for that resolution, because it's just a very limited thing with about 5 issues that you've approved.
It won't be as long, I promise.
So then 12 would be simultaneous.
Huh? I did say it earlier, I said it would be shorter, it's just keeping us safe.
So 12, where does the simultaneous get inserted?
The applicant shall obtain simultaneous approval,
Yeah.
or shall be granted simultaneous approval of the related site plan development amendment.
Say something. Alright. Okay, next one. I do want to talk about it because I know you requested a change to it, the site inspection fee. The code reads greater, it's either the greater of, equal to the greater of $250 or 5% of the performance bond, or the actual cost of inspection. That's taken directly from the village code. I know you requested just to do $250 or the actual cost of inspection. I don't know that we can change that as part of this.
I told you we're accepting this.
Oh, okay. I just saw it in the previous version of it, so.
This is Picayune.
Yeah.
In that same paragraph on the third line, space, looks like you need a space between bond, comma, and or.
Got it. Thank you.
Now we can go back to sleep.
You're dreaming about that.
And then the rest of what we discussed here, the different access easements, pedestrian easements, all those are going to be provided with COs, parking agreement. We did mention the maintenance. Wait a second. Number
So
20.
it's special, what's a special counsel?
Where are you? That village, you're calling them special counsel?
Yeah, we're going to change all those to say
I have counsel to the planning board.
Council use, that's a better way of putting it.
Counsel to the planning board.
Planning board, you wanna write?
Okay,
that works.
Even though you are special.
I'm a special.
Thanks,
My mother used to say that.
And then that's, the rest are all pretty standard. They're pasted from every other resolution you've ever had. Oh, except the event, I'm sorry, I'm annoying. If there's ever a restaurant added, you have to get a conditional use approval. That's the only thing that's added in there too.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
That was discussed.
I know, I'm just
Okay.
covering myself.
Great job, Dan.
Yeah.
Ton of work.
If we are amending code, it does say in the comp plan that they really wanted to have restaurant use be
Yes.
permitted. So hypothetically, if we can address that for the future, because it shouldn't be this hard.
31 and 32.
Yes, 31 and 32 are both on.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be great if it wasn't a
Windows, make sure they're transparent.
conditional, if it was just allowed?
Yeah, I agree. And if we want to do it.
So we're addressing both site plans through this.
Let's see.
We said someone changed that.
So that it's agreeing that both site plans are being approved.
So they're both being approved tonight. We're gonna retroactively do the resolution. Is that
Well,
the-
Correct.
Yeah, right? The retail bags, everything, I don't understand. Fully concealed. And that's on page 2, paragraph 2.
Is that a mistake?
Where are you?
What?
Dan just said it's in the code.
No, that's a quote from the village code. It's in the village code.
What are we looking at?
On the whereas, page 2, paragraph 2.
Yeah. Because remember, we talked about that pretty extensively in the beginning of the review of the application. That regarding front on Main Street. That's a quote directly from the village code. It says fully
It doesn't
concealed.
make sense.
Okay, we have, like,
Exactly.
I was the one that was the stickler on this, right? And I think what we understood was that if you put in a bank, a retail store, any of those accessory services, that you have to conceal the area no more than 30%. It has to be concealed. It's devoted to accessory use of the bank, the retail store, the.
Yeah.
So I lost the argument. So originally, I read our code to read, just like I thought it would, because the comp plan specifies, I want to say retail use, but let's just understand that that could be any non-residential use, right? I read our code to read that the accessory use for the residence part of this mixed-use development had to be concealed, and it could only be 30%. Okay, I was wrong. That's not what this is referring to, and I think Dan's trying to be very clear because of my argument that when whatever retail use goes in, that their accessory use cannot be larger than 30% of their footprint, and it has to be concealed.
So if you have an office that's part of a restaurant.
Yeah, so whatever is in that retail space.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Now I'm starting to
Okay, so
understand
whatever
the
goes
accessory,
into that
you know,
retail
because
space.
the way it's reading is if you have a bank, it has to be concealed.
Yeah, no, but this is
That's
the
what the code
problem.
reads, that's the
This is the
problem.
way the code
Very.
is very funky.
Very oblique.
Yeah. And by the way, it's a direct copy of C1, and we never had this argument in C1. It was never allowed to have residential uses on the first floor. We made the mistake of allowing a residential use at Brookport and then set the precedent. So, thank you for including that. It, just reminds me that it was discussed.
It was clearer. in
That's
its
a code
intent,
question.
Because as it
Yes.
is written,
It's,
A person
but I think you guys understand.
We ended up increasing the retail,
Right,
everyone
but
wins.
they understand
All right.
that whatever
All right.
accessory use they have for the retail space is 30%
If you read
concealed.
the remainder, the whereas clause is so expanded, it kind of goes through the, like, explains it a little more. It's-
And the other part.
I just
Thank
wanted
you
it in the
for
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, it's done.
I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to say.
Yes, please.
Oh, what is it? Go ahead.
Sure, I can go now?
Mhm.
Can I get a motion to approve? What do you want to say? Approve the submission, approve the project, approve the site plan approval, how was it?
Draft
Yeah,
resolution.
conditional, grant conditional approval of the site development plan.
Can I get a motion for conditional approval, the site plan amendment for this project as amended tonight?
If I don't have to repeat that,
No, just
I
say-
make the
yes.
motion, I make the motion as.
So can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
So,
What about the other?
what about, wait, the first one was for the Baxter?
Correct.
And now you're going to do the one for Rail.
Right.
Rail
Realty LLC.
Okay, so if we do this, Jim, can we circulate a draft resolution via email and can we weigh in? Because we're approving something completely sight unseen. We don't have verbiage, we have nothing. I would like to reserve the right to be able to amend it via email.
We can all amend it by email.
I'm just saying, because we're not in a public meeting, we don't have a chance to weigh in on what actually gets written. So I don't want to be locked into something that then I can't say anything
Well, remember the
about.
library, you guys approved it, and then retroactively just edited the resolution, it'll be the same
Yes,
process.
okay, so we can edit it at the next meeting.
100%.
Okay.
You'll
My
circulate
bad.
the
And I still circulate it though, yeah,
Thank
we
you.
just, we promised the
I
quorum issue.
misunderstood. Yeah.
We just can't
Thank
use the
you.
quorum issue.
You understand, you know,
Yeah.
sight unseen.
Just wanted to make sure it got approved,
Great
so that they were together.
I'm sorry.
Sit
You
down.
guys are like brothers.
Which one?
addresses?
The-
Yeah, that skips.
Additional approval for
For the
site plan
site plan
amendment.
amendment?
It's just a site development plan, I know,
Yeah, that's wrong.
I wrote it in my,
Oh,
I'm trying, guys.
all right.
All
Okay.
worries. So it's an approval for a site plan.
Fine, site-
Conditional
site
approval
plan.
for a site development plan
Right.
for,
No amendment.
No
No
amendment. All right. And then now we're gonna do one for the amendment.
Right.
yes, tax codes in it.
So we're gonna approve
Whatever you
the
call it.
thing and then comment at the next meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll staff will, contingent upon the resolution being prepared.
Can I get a motion for approval of the site plan amendment for Rail Realty LLC, also known as the Hills of Port Jefferson?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you all.
Motion to adjourn,
I'll make the motion.
second.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a good evening.
All in favor?
Stay Dave, all of them. Good job, Dave.
No, no, no.